This show is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Burnout is real, whether it's work, family, kids, or life in general. Here's your reminder to slow down and take care of yourself. Visit betterhelp.com/allies and learn to manage the burnout.
Hello, welcome to the Easy Allies podcast. I'm Daniel Bloodworth, coming to you from Los Angeles, California. It is crazy late. We are shooting this 4 hours later than usual. You can say that the Summer Game Fest festivities have officially begun. We had State of Play, and we're going to talk a lot about that, as well as some other big stuff that's been going on this week. We got to see some Sonic footage. We got to see some Star Wars teasing. We got to see some Pokemon. But before we do that, let me introduce our panel. We got Michael Huber this week.
Thanks, Capcom.
Michael Damiani.
Thanks, Yoshi P.
Yes.
Isla is out sick, but she is watching us in the behind-the-scenes tier, making sure that we don't screw up too much.
Crying, hopefully not too much crying, watching me. I'm going to try here, hold everything together. I think
And in the control room, that voice is Don Casanova.
Organized chaos.
Organized chaos.
That's you in a nutshell, I feel like, Don. Organized chaos.
Buckle up.
I've already gone out of order, so let's Don, cue that corrections music, please.
Boop.
So this is why we have corrections right here. I love this. To catch the sometimes kind of tricky wording, things that pop up that you think you know what it means, but actually kind of misread it in the moment.
Story of my life.
Don's bets.
So last week I was going through these PlayStation investor reports, right?
Yeah.
I pointed out this graph that they put on there that had shown the shift in PS4 sales from disc to digital. And they had this bar with bright blue and dark blue colors that came up to 80% digital versus 20% disc for the last fiscal year. However, that 80% digital isn't digital full games. That's 80%. That's digital.
So it's like
spend.
digital only games.
No. It's
like
everything.
DLC, like cosmetics,
Free to play,
yeah.
all of that stuff is
So it's
included
skewed.
in the
So it's
80-20. Yeah.
Okay.
So actually,
Great correction.
Movies.
Yeah, this is a great correction. If you actually compare the number of copies across PS4 and PS5,
I like that.
it's closer to 65% digital, which is still up significantly from 53% in the previous year.
No doubt.
Not really a correction because we acknowledge that there is a mobile Wipeout game, but this is some interesting information. I did not have the details on this. There's a mobile Wipeout game known previously as Wipeout Rush. It's now known as Wipeout Merge. Have you ever heard of this?
Nope.
Yeah.
Heard of Riptide GP, though. 1 and 2.
So here's the thing. It's a team management sim. You don't actually play during races.
Oh, skip.
You just watch simulated races like one of Don's horse racing games.
Nah.
Also not officially produced by Sony. It's they like got the license
This
from
is
Sony
weird.
to do this.
Everything about this is weird.
Yeah. Published by Rogue Games.
They are rogue. They've gone rogue.
I am forgetting. I think this had to do with the game. Yeah. Brad had said they don't use days in RPG skills, like days of the week. However, in Grand Blue Fantasy, a character named Friday has 2 support skills, Lifestyle Revolution and Casual Friday, that give her additional effects and a healing bonus effect to fire characters only on Fridays.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty cool, actually. I kind of like that.
I had said Destruction All-Stars was a full-priced game other than the PS Plus release. However, as it turns out, it was never available to purchase for full price.
No, it was going to be.
It was originally announced to be a $70 game that would be available to launch on PS5. Then when it got delayed, it only became available with a PS Plus membership for the first 2 months. Then after that, when it finally was available to purchase, it was only $20. Obviously, though, the damage had already been done.
Yeah.
By that point.
Yeah.
Ben said there would be no corrections this week. He was incorrect. If you have a correction, please leave it in the YouTube comments. You can do that on either the public version of the podcast or the patron-only version, which has some bonus content there for you. Use the word correction so that search is up easy, and be sure to put a timestamp in there. That's actually super important, so I can go back, see the conversation, see what you're correcting. If I don't know what you're talking about, there's a good chance I'll just skip.
Nothing better than correcting a correction.
Right?
Nothing better. Please try to do that.
Don, end corrections music. All right. We've had some smaller announcements and events going on the past couple of weeks, but today feels like, even though they went early, State of Play, PlayStation is kicking things off.
Yeah.
For Summer Game Fest. They actually did have the Summer Game Fest logo up there in the corner, which I didn't
Keely's
expect.
Pocket.
That's right.
Yeah.
Keely paid up.
Flowing.
Yeah. Get that branding.
So just to
Do you think
start,
Keely went to them for that? Or they were like, yo, Keely, you're doing all this.
He's the one.
It was them showing
Trying to push
support
that,
of
yeah.
Keely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, because he's spearheading this whole,
That's right.
Yeah. Why they put it a week ahead of time, I don't know, but still.
I have a theory, honestly.
Sure, we'll go for it. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
before we
still-
get into all the games.
Honestly, it feels like further lowering expectations. These Sony ones specifically have been really hit or miss the last couple years. You know, post God of War, the expectations were just so out of control. So I think just coming out saying third party PSVR, announced pretty quickly, hey, Thursday is the State of Play. So I think, kind of announcing that and just it being before everything, I think people's expectations were pretty chill going into this. So if that was their intent, they played it flawlessly.
Yeah.
I think they just wanted to go first and wanted to be far ahead of everything, so they dominated the conversation for a week before everyone else started.
That too, yeah.
Sure.
Right? Everyone plays not really like chicken, but they kind of have their space that they want to be in. We still don't even know if Nintendo's doing anything, and if they do, we'll be at the end like usual.
Right.
Sony's you know what? I think it was, know what also was, Heber? I think they were confident. Because that lineup,
Dude.
baby, that was
Ridiculous.
It was home run after home run, baby.
Yeah. So I have to ask you, was there a single letdown? Were you ever actually disappointed or bored or anything like that? Was there anything in there that was eh?
The only thing that always lets me down, it's not this conference, it's leaks in general.
Okay.
Data mine, Capcom breaches that spoil some of these moments.
The NVIDIA leak that perennially is popping up.
Yeah, but no disappointments because even Capcom did their best to still trick us. So shout out to that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah, I was not
Let's
disappointed.
start with the date first. Leave you guessing what that date might be for.
Yeah, what a weird way to do that. Just has any trailer just begun with a date?
Not
that?
just
What a
the
flex.
trailer.
Hype trailer.
The entire showcase
Yeah, just with a date.
starts with the date.
You know what? They're firing the first salvo against Nintendo because they probably think Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out in March.
Yeah, dude.
Yo, Breath of the Wild what?
March.
Resident Evil 4, baby.
We're
Let's
taking
go.
it.
Well, let's
You got
let's be
scared
clear,
of Elden
though.
Ring? Well, guess what? Resident Evil 4 is coming.
Let's be clear. What was that date for, Heber?
Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yeah.
The
Which in classic Capcom fashion does not say remake.
does not say Resident Evil 4. We're on this.
None of them have.
Nope. We're on this reimagined timeline that really, remake 1 was made so long ago. It's kind of a different beast, but remake 2 kind of kicked this off just a few years ago now, and we're already at remake 4. Finally here. Everyone was expecting it. It got kind of leaked. So again, there is kind of that okay, we saw it. We were expecting one day to see it, and here it is. So that it always kind of stings a little bit of that. But It looked incredible. Obviously, going into this one now, expectations are so much higher. I think Resident Evil 4 is just a more popular game in the industry. Not just for not specifically to Resident Evil fans. I just think to gamers, Resident Evil 4 is a more important game to them.
Yeah.
Just
definitely like a pivot moment in the franchise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just a lot higher stakes with this remake versus the other Resident Evil remakes. Maybe not necessarily for me personally, because Resident Evil 2 is my favorite game ever made. So to me that was. But I think in general, as a Resident Evil remake, this is as high stakes as it gets.
Yeah. I mean, the numbers back up the popularity. Just looking at PlayStation's YouTube channel today, the last time I checked, which was admittedly a few hours ago, RE4's trailer had 3 times the views as both 2 other high-profile games we'll get to later, and those are pretty big deals. But like they were in like the 300,000 views, and Resident Evil 4 is coming up on 1 million. So
Out of control.
It's a big deal.
Always heralded as one of the greatest games ever made.
Which is why so many people want to look at it, because they want to see visually how does it look.
Right.
Biggest question: who cares if everything leaked? Visuals didn't leak.
Yeah.
No footage of that thing.
What does it
no
look like?
Screenshots.
Yeah,
of that leaked.
dude. Good
So
call.
we got to see what it looked like.
Great
And it
call.
simultaneously like looks more amazing, but still some those iconic shots that still look true to it.
The Village.
And the character changes, like Leon looking like an evolution of the RE2 remake Leon.
Yep.
The new Ashley design, a tease
Ashley
of
looked
Ada. I mean, seeing like the tone of the game.
Sadler looked sick. Sadler's eyes were all glowing and shit.
Heck yeah. And the blog post they did on the PlayStation blog, giving more details, saying it's like it could get ripping and banded off, saying it is a reimagining of 4.
Which they say
like, we're
every
doing-
time they've said
and they
this.
said it's modern storytelling and modern gameplay mechanics. So it probably means running and shooting.
Up the action.
Probably more action.
That's my dream. We didn't see any action during this trailer. It was more environmental character shots.
No
Fired,
chainsaw
right?
guy.
No chainsaw maniac, no
Now you're giving me
shopkeeper,
anxiety.
no briefcase, no upgrades.
Stop.
No mercenaries. Like, is it even going to be
Stop.
part of this? So much we haven't seen. My dream is really my only hope and dream is to piggyback off that, Damiani, is the action and how it controls. I don't want to get into it, Resident Evil 6 can sometimes feel really cool to play with, diving around, stuff like I want to see, like, take that to times 10, dude. Let's like up that. I want to see Leon dive out of a window. I don't want it to be Resident Evil 6 style. Don't get me wrong here, but I want to see like, I want to be capable. I want to like dive out of a window, shoot a zombie, like then get up, kick another one, like pick up their weapon. I want it to be like fluid like that, The main feeling of Resident Evil 4 is this pressure, this tension, the overwhelming odds of being in a small location with limited resources and they're just bearing down on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
How do we
something
make that feel next
That's
gen?
something I wonder about.
Yeah.
Because you look at, 2 in particular, because I hadn't played 3, but I imagine 3 is somewhat similar. But 2 is still very much small scale encounter, right? Like you get to know this building in and out. You usually are only dealing with
3, 4 tops, 5.
a couple of zombies at a time, or maybe like one bigger enemy. In Resident Evil 4, you might have 8, 9, 10 guys on the screen at the time.
Running
Yeah,
around.
that opening village.
Running around.
It's like
Spawn them in.
Yeah, sets the bar for you with like, wait, why do they keep coming? Why are there so many enemies on this screen? What the heck? And you got to deal with them all, man. But Blood saying you haven't played 3 yet, though. One of the biggest questions with this is going to be about content. What's going to get cut?
Right.
What are they going to keep? Because RE3, as much as you and I like it, there are a lot of people out there who are unhappy with some of the cuts they made.
I know.
And RE4 it's like very intriguing to see because it almost feels like with the tone they're setting, some things won't make sense. They clearly showed Sadler in there, but like, will Ramon Salazar be in there, and will he be goofy and all that? Is like the robot chase, the statue chase sequence gonna be there? Is any of the island? Because even if they cut the island, like if they let people, regenerators better be there.
Yeah, you need them.
Yeah, like you gotta have some of that stuff.
The castle obviously is gonna be the showpiece.
Yeah, and is that those two things enough to carry it? And then like we're talking about the modernization of the gameplay. Will melee combat still be there?
That's what I want.
Like because in RE2 and RE3, that's not there in the same fashion. Can I shoot them in the kneecap and then like set up a suplex? Is any of that gonna be there?
That stuff, and like they teased kind of in Remake 2, like boarding up the RPD. So basic, so basic. Just put the boards like. In 4, pushing things in front of doors, people coming through windows, like elevate that stuff. Like I want that just chaotic, frantic feeling while also having so much control and utility. Like I want my mind to be racing in an encounter with like on the fly 3 different things I could do in that moment. Like, okay, do I shoot him? Do I like jump out the window and do something? Do I like grab this over here and use that? So my mind's racing.
The one thing that's sort of concerned me a little bit, and I hope they can kind of keep that essence of is, I feel like RE4 is a game with a lot of cool little Easter egg type things, right? Like you think about the lake, and things that can go down there, and it's like. And one of the things for me is like we had like these death montages, right? The game trailers, it's like every single way, all the crazy ways that you can die in that game. Dude. And what's funny is like some of those were like even like cut out of the Japanese version because they're too intense for the ratings.
Blood. I'm a little my criticism with Remake 3 is the reduced gore because they had to have more like monsters on screen, It was just more going on, so less gore. I hope the gore is brought up to Remake 2 standards again. Because when Remake 2 came out, that was one of the core highlights from Capcom, wet gore. So hopefully Remake 4 leans into that.
Being PS5 will help with that,
big
if
time.
It was a limitations issue.
You mentioned about, cuts and whatnot. I wonder if they cut some things and then seamlessly add in like separate ways, they put it into just the campaign. So instead you're omitting maybe
make that more seamless for sure.
You're omitting maybe some island stuff, but you're getting like Ada's integrated in and Ashley, of course. Ashley just from this trailer had me the most excited because it just even from seeing it for seconds, it made me think how much more expansive her gameplay is going to be. And I'm excited for the possibility of those different types of horror. Village was a horror showpiece, just all these different types of horror, body horror or like, techno cyber horror. Like I hope for Ashley's section, we go back to those survival horror roots of like, you gotta run. Sorry. Like you gotta get that. You need to avoid enemies, and then obviously balancing that with Leon's more crazy action, kung fu maniac gameplay. So I think it'd be just a great balance.
Do you think, because it looked like they were teasing the solo gameplay for Ashley. She does have a solo segment in the original game, but this looked like something that was not in the context of that.
Yeah, she's at like some cemetery.
So do you think they might straight up cut the tag team of them together? Do you think they might be parts where, do you think they'll actually be like the same system? They might ditch that.
Great question. That's a really good question. Oh, I don't know, because that's another iconic part is when she has to crank the things and you're like defending her. I mean, if you remove that, it's making the game like less annoying, I get. People don't like guarding NPC characters. So I don't know. Do you take that out? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you have to keep.
I do think that's probably the most divisive part of that game.
Definitely.
So
I think you got to keep them together at least at some parts. Her being in danger right in front of you and you having to protect her, or vice versa.
Sniping.
Sniping
bit.
Yeah.
But The other thing before we move on that I want to ask you, Huber, is, they went 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Does this mean that Code Veronica's off the table?
It's not off the... I don't think it's off the table. I don't think it's off the table. I do worry about it. I do worry about it getting the remake treatment. I think if it's not within the next couple years, then I'll be concerned and be like, dude, it's not going to happen. Because I feel like at this point now, it has to be next. Unless they're insane and they remake 1 again now in RE Engine and all this, and they reimagine 1 again and make it, insane.
Save the best for last.
Save the best for last. Yeah, but I don't, like, Code Veronica is so important to the entire Resident Evil plot line. It's important for the characters, and it's important for Resident Evil fans that just love that game. It's a big one. It's a big one that often gets overlooked because the number is not in the title.
Right.
But it deserves a remake, and I think out of all the Resident Evil games, it would benefit the most, even more so than 0, because Code Veronica is more important.
Remaking 0
than
is an
0.
interesting idea too. Yeah.
Code Veronica is just so much more important overall to everything, and I would just love for it to get a remake, but I am getting nervous, Bloodworth.
Yeah, I feel like Capcom is explicitly taking a stance with these remakes that they're redoing the story.
Yeah.
2, 3, and now 4, like saying it's a modernization. The only question now is like, and I think the obvious answer is at the end of all this, they go back and do 1, and they have a new modern continuity. 1, 2, 3, 4, the remakes, and then 7, 8, and 9 will probably be part of that. I imagine those games will carry, and then the original versions are just like different versions. Like that's not part of it.
What about 5? Where does 5 go from here?
It's like, do they do anything about 5 and 6? I imagine
that's so important.
I imagine 6, they'd love to forget about that game.
Skip
it. But
and just remake 5 and be done with it.
Yeah. I say they would probably do 5 at some point and then like work in some elements of 6 into it to like...
Dude, the Chris Wesker rivalry is peak Code Veronica and Resident Evil 5. What if you combine them?
Yeah.
Like we're talking about Resident Evil 4 and separate ways combining. Just do 5 and I know that's blasphemous. In a perfect world, I would never do it. Okay, I'm at Capcom. I don't do that. I remake Code Veronica, then 4. Yes. But in a not perfect world, I could see them maybe combining the 2. Yeah. And then you kind of get 5 taken care of, and then really all that's left is 6. And you can kind of just...
Yeah, I mean...
I kind of like it, dude.
It's like, they don't really reference too much in that stuff. And who knows where they go. But it seems like 4 would be next year. Probably hear about 9 at some point. And then I think the big finale for this huge revival of Resident Evil is remake 1 again.
Yep.
Because as much as 4 is revered and stuff, 1 and its remake is that's considered perfection.
Perfection, yeah.
It's perfection. There's some flaws with 4.
Yeah.
So the island part has its rough spots, but very hard to look at the remake version of 1 and be like, there's really bad parts. And no, not really. It's really good. So that I think is a bigger challenge to them is how do you make that feel new and then make it top that original, or at least an equal footing. That's such
Spencer
a
mentioned ray tracing, dude.
Dude, PS6. Right?
And just going back to remake 1 when it came out, if you remake 1 again, it needs to look 7 years better than the best game.
Right. It'll be it's been what? It'll be 20 years since that thing came out.
And it still looks so good.
Yeah.
Dude, just make it look real time as good as those pre-renders look.
Yes.
Or better. There you go.
Yes.
That's all you got to do, man. Imagine the density they can do. Because Village, how dense some of those rooms are.
All of it, just Spencer Mansion. All the power into one location. Oh.
The Spencer compound, dude.
Can't move on without just saying one last word. We have yet
here
to
he comes.
see
Here he comes. Yep.
Wesker in remake. RE Engine Wesker has yet to be revealed. The wait continues, but we are getting closer.
One thing that they tagged on at the end there was that there will be PSVR 2
wild
content of some kind
Yeah.
in that game. I don't know if it'll be part of Mercenaries or what they're going to do with that. Obviously, they just did all the original game on Oculus.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I wonder if it'll be just the like Village and 7, the whole game in it, or if it'll be a separate thing. I don't think they
feels
would.
like the way they worded it,
Yeah.
it feels like a separate like mini part of it.
Yeah,
rather
but like,
than the full
would
game.
they have exclusive VR content? Is my question. Like, hey, we're doing this thing that's only VR.
Yeah,
You think they would?
yeah. I think potentially, yeah.
Shit.
Because it would be, again, it's
Selling the VR too.
what the controls and everything is just very different.
Yeah.
So otherwise, yeah, you'd have some other clunky first person thing.
Yeah.
And so that brings us to the next section where they had as they had mentioned beforehand, they had a series of VR2 announcements. So first of all was Resident Evil Village for
Nice.
PSVR 2.
Yep. Long
then
time coming.
The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution.
Love Retribution and Redemption. Two of my favorite words.
No Man's Sky coming to VR 2, which has already had some VR stuff before, and then Horizon Call of the Mountain.
Which looks phenomenal. I mean, this is clearly the Astrobot of PSVR 2. This is the
No. Astrobot will be the Astrobot of PSVR 2.
I'm just
I
saying.
cannot wait for that reveal.
I'm just saying this Horizon looks like you call your parents into the room and your grandpa and you're like, yo, check this one out. That's how it looks like. It just looks like an actual showpiece for what PSVR 2 can be.
Yeah, they did a really good job too of like leading you on to think it's going to be a very guided focus, like on rails thing at the first with the boat set up, and you're like, oh, it's going to be like a tour through part of the thing.
Yeah.
And then completely escalates and shows you the evolution of the gameplay where it's like you'd be freeing a bow, you're gonna be like platforming in VR. It's like
good variety.
Scaling this giant mountain. It's like, all right, well, they know what they're doing with
Yeah.
this. And visually, I mean, yeah, obviously it's not gonna look as good as the main game, but the aesthetic style they got there on PSVR, I mean, looks much better than any of the older PSVR games.
Oh, yeah.
By a lot.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
definitely, good step up.
These are
because-
good looking games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I like the premise quite a bit.
Like Village didn't. I didn't get any sense that there was a downgrade in Village. Like there was no noticeable like
Looked crazy
resolution dip or like things looking faded or models looking out of place. Like it just felt like Village was floating hands and being able to throw
Yeah.
your guns around and
Yeah.
stuff.
Your
Yeah.
head shaking all the time, which
Totally.
is good effect.
Yeah, that's got to be one of the hardest things. Is to like, okay, we need to show that this is VR and not just the same first-person camera.
Yeah.
But if we just capture somebody's actual gameplay, it's probably going to be a mess because of how they move their head.
Yep.
And so they've got to sort of like fudge it somewhere in between
Yeah.
those 2 points.
It's funny.
Good to say though. Sorry, with the Village thing, did not see the Village DLC.
Oh, that's Keeley.
Okay.
Keeley's gonna shadow
Yeah.
drop that.
You were asking about disappointments
Yeah.
earlier. I was
Yeah.
wondering if like
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
you were like really expecting it.
Yeah.
The fact they
I've
announced RE4 before Village DLC, but I mean it's a big event.
yeah.
Honestly,
Keeley.
we have so many more opportunities
yeah.
for more things to pop up.
Yeah.
Because you've got Keeley,
Keeley.
then you have Xbox, then you have PC.
Sure, it could show up anywhere.
Like, yeah, that's the thing. That's the like one of the golden linings of like third parties is they can be anywhere.
I think for
And
sure.
even then, like if they want to just drop a trailer in the middle of the week, they can do that too.
Totally. I think for sure those next gen Resident Evil patches will be at Keeley's. He'll drop those. He'll be like now available.
Nice. Shadow drops.
Yeah. Yeah.
A kind of a big one that feeds into the things we've been talking about PlayStation plans the past few weeks. Spider-Man and Miles Morales, which wasn't clear from the presentation
Yeah,
that Miles
it was
Morales was
not
also
clear,
coming, but both coming to PC. They said the Spider-Man series is the way they worded it.
Huge.
It's just like hundreds of millions of dollars being
Like
pushed
so,
to.
they're gonna see the amount of
Yeah.
money they get from this, and they're probably gonna be like,
Like, can we just have a Twitch channel focused on their bank account when that game gets released on PC. Like, I want to see in real time the number just rising.
Yeah. August 12th for Spider-Man, and then just fall for Miles Morales. So.
Truly, I say this all the time. I love to say it. Truly, one of the best video games ever made is Marvel's Spider-Man from Insomniac. So if you have not played it, and you have PC and you're waiting,
might actually
you're
like Miles a little bit better.
Sure, yeah.
It's smaller,
yeah.
obviously, but there's just something about that.
They're both,
the
I
tone
treat
of
them
that
as
game
one.
is really good.
Yeah.
I treat it all as one. It's the best.
Yeah.
It's all a 10 here. It's like,
Yeah. Very, very good. Curious to see that game running in action on like PC. Like
it's gonna be like 500 frames per second, right? Like unlocked. What's the max frames you can get on a game, Damiani?
There's unlocked frame rate.
But like, what's the max?
I mean, the max is what.
Like,
your
can
computer
you
will
get like
blow up at.
9999? Like, can you get 10,000 frames?
No, you can have like an infinite frame rate, and then
Yeah.
that's when your graphics card dies.
Yeah, that's where you get to smell a bad, funky, smoky smell, and you hear a pop. And your computer's not going to work anymore.
You don't want to hear a pop.
You're going to get a big power bill. Your room's going to be pretty hot, too.
Like, dude, I want to see 8K HDR ray traced unlocked zipping.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nuts.
Yeah. Also, obviously expect, like, mods.
Oh my god.
Like,
Yep.
different outfits. And
gonna
We
be
saw
so wild.
Master Chief versus Kratos stuff in the past couple weeks. Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, it's just going to be a good time. And I think, yeah, you're right. For anyone who just hasn't been able to get it, hasn't gotten it yet because they haven't owned a PlayStation, or they wanted to play in the best way and they still can get a PS5, it's like, if you do have a PC it's capable of running this, just so good.
So good.
And it, like,
So
I think it
good.
also opens a door that, like, I mean, it seemed like maybe everything was on the table before, but like it really means everything's on the table for Sony. I feel like,
Yeah.
in terms of first party, there's
Yep.
like with now,
Yeah.
like what they put out so far. I know it's kind of jumped around, but still, it's like if they're willing to put Spider-Man
Yeah.
on there, anything's gonna.
It's
get
honestly
there.
making
So,
me think-
Bloodborne's coming.
Bloodborne's coming.
It's coming.
It's making me
coming.
think older games now have a chance, dude.
Yeah.
Like PS3 game.
You know what I want?
PC. I don't know.
Dude, anything that came out on PS4, PS5, I'd love for them to put on PC. You know what I'd want? Just like maybe give it a second chance. Gravity Rush 2.
Oh, yeah.
Gravity Rush 2 on PC.
Yeah, that would be
Give
the
it a-
really nice
give it a
thing to do.
chance.
Give it a
feels
chance.
like right.
For pity's sake, give it a chance.
But that's kind of the opposite of your point though, because like your thing is like, oh, well, Spider-Man than anything, but it's actually I feel almost like the opposite. It's like now they're sort of like our biggest hits. Let's get them on PC now. So would the more niche stuff or like super older, I mean, Bloodborne is really pretty old at this point in Sony's mind, I'm sure.
Let's get that Motor Storm.
Yeah.
I think the next, what are some of the big ones left that they got to get in there? Ghost of Tsushima,
Yeah.
A Last of Us,
Yeah, Last of Us, Ghosts.
Uncharted.
Uncharted. Oh, the Uncharted games.
Yeah.
All of them.
This is probably the.
I think Returnal is the biggest.
and
Returnal
Returnal's already was
right now, yeah.
announced.
Yeah.
Demons.
Was that actually
Souls?
announced?
Oh, is that a rumor?
I can't remember if that's announced, if that was a leak.
That was the rumor that said that it was coming out later this year or something.
What was?
Returnal
Oh,
is
okay.
next on the docket.
Got it. Oh, NVIDIA leak, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But
yeah, maybe they get the big ones out of the way, and they're like, "All right, let's start looking into our back catalog a bit."
Kill zones, our resistances,
Yeah,
our infamouses, PC versions. Is that
man.
ever gonna happen?
I would almost rather them find a way to get some of their PS3 games to run on PC than stream them on.
Yeah,
that
just
service.
come on.
yeah.
I know that's like
Oh,
that, but that's a pie in the sky.
Yeah.
But some of their PS4 games, I absolutely think have a chance of coming on there. So
Definitely.
coming onto the PC.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think the big questions for me now is like, what will this frequency look like? Like, how often are they going to announce these things? And then, like we're talking about with Returnal, what will, when they get to a point where they feel like they're caught up, what will the gap look
Yeah.
like? Right? Because
Will we ever be day and
Miles
date?
Morales is years ago now. So
Will we ever be day and date?
that,
Uncharted 7 releases
I
on
think
PS6.
something might be day and date. I don't think something on the level of an Uncharted will be on day and date.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably not. If Sony's still making consoles, then probably not.
Yeah. Like they might do like Destruction All Stars 2. day and date PC. You know?
Knack 3, baby. Knack 3.
Knack
There
3.
we go. Calling it now. Knack 3 first game. Day and date.
Ray traced knack.
Damiani, we got a new look at Stray.
Yes, we did.
If you're not aware of what this game is, this is a game where you play as a cat in some cyberpunk crazy future talking to robots.
Yeah, where it seemed like humans are around, just the robots around. It was interesting. I thought you made this remark, right, Huber? Where you said you were surprised that it was it you about it's just like a lot of walking around, no real like
Oh yeah, I was mentioning that.
Oh,
Don
it was
said
you,
that,
Don.
Don said
Sorry. Yeah, it was interesting you mentioned that because this was definitely showing off some of the platforming, but I can't remember the first trailer, the earlier trailer, so I was kind of curious why you said that.
Well, it's funny because I remember the first look at it we got was it just showed similar to this. It was showing like the environment and the world, and it was beautiful. You want to play, but then they had another trailer they released that showed you a whole bunch of interactions with like that little robot and they're showing like puzzle solving and all. And it was kind of a surprise at the time because I was like, oh, I didn't even realize this was like part of your mechanics. And so it was just interesting that it felt like they kind of pulled back on that, and again showed us the beauty of the world, but it was like kind of not showing off a lot of the mechanics of the game.
Okay. Yeah, it was actually puzzles specifically you mentioned,
Nice.
not action. You gotta say, like, I think they focused on what they needed to focus on, which is like making an adorable cat be adorable in a terrifying but like very intriguing world. Lots of meows and purrs. I very much appreciated that.
I liked all those little half and quarter purrs. I'm hoping there's a button for each. Not just a meow button, but like several, all those different types of meow.
And I hope there's like a way you meet another cat in that game and you use like purrs to communicate. That would be like really sick.
Will we claw anything or anyone?
Probably because
Will there be combat? We've seen a claw.
Very anxiety-inducing. Seeing the cat being attacked by enemies. Thankfully, they didn't show what happens when you get hit. I'm going to assume it's just like one hit fail. Hopefully, just to be like kind because I'm not going to be able to handle. Like,
I don't want to see that
damage. I was like, no, please don't do that.
Yeah,
but they showed the one quick shot, almost like one frame was the cat hissing. Like, it was getting defensive.
Jonesy.
So it's like, I think you're gonna have to like maybe. I imagine it's gonna be a game where you don't really fight back, but like maybe you have like a desperation mechanic where it's like you've got caught once, you get like one chance to get out. Like Metroid Dread, like when you got caught by
Emmy,
you get one chance to maybe get out of it, and or maybe 9. You know, it's a cat, 9 lives.
Yeah, 9 lives.
Hopefully.
That'd be, dude. There better be a fucking hardcore 9 life mode. Let's go.
No.
That's hype.
I think it might be more hardcore than that, but
This needs to be.
oh, you mean just like permanent, like delete your save
Hubert,
afterwards?
I need this game to be like very story and like fun driven. Like
Damiani, I don't know where you're coming from with this because for me, the reason I'm so hyped for this game, and it is one of my number one game, like top of the list this year, is because it looks sad as shit.
no.
This game to me looks melancholic, dude. There is some like somber undertones going down here, and that's all I need out of this game is some like the emotional exploration and like all the robots you're talking to. If that stuff is good, this is gonna be one of my favorite games this year.
I get
It
what you
looks
mean.
sad, dude. You better be prepared. You don't think this game looks sad?
Let me finish. Yeah. I agree. That's probably sad, but I think it's going to be about like what happened to humanity.
Yeah.
Like you're left behind, and I think you have sad interactions about like
your owners,
either your owners or like learning about humans, how they used to like love pets and stuff, but they're not around, and robots don't like that. One robot saw the cat walking in the alley and it hit the alarm and ran and freaked out. Like they don't like
some living organism.
Yeah, so like organic life seems to be no, bad.
Yes.
So that's gonna be the sad thing. The cat's probably come across stuff that shows what life used to be like. That's what these dystopian games always do.
Yeah,
it's like,
dude.
Here's the sad thing. You used to have a normal family. You used to have a normal life before the moon exploded and crashed into Earth and destroyed everything.
It's not gonna be all pets and purrs, Damiani.
Oh, it is. My play. I'm putting that on the most casual, no death possible difficulty. Better have that in that option, or I'm gonna be like writing an angry letter to Sony.
Passive mode, dude.
On Twitter right away, like, you need to put a no death option in here, please. Otherwise, you guys are monsters.
Huber,
I'm nervous, dude.
this state of play might as well have happened in October. We got the Resident Evil 4 remake, we got Resident Evil Village, we got Walking Dead, and we got the Callisto Protocol. finally get to really see this game.
Yes.
See what this is about.
And the good news, no offense at all, but the good news for me, because I don't play PUBG, is it's no longer tied to the PUBG universe. No disrespect to PUBG, but now I get to come in fresh. I don't need some past experience with PUBG to be all in on this, because the premise is great. You are on a prison planet with some alien freakos, and you got to get the hell out. Like, the simplest...
I don't think as far as I can tell, there's not aliens. From what I could,
monstrous freakos.
Yeah, from what I could glean from the narration, is there's some mad scientist in this prison who's like, I'm like figuring out how to re-engineer humanity kind of thing, like you're gonna be reborn, and all that. And so like you're
Wesker.
walking, you're
Dr.
walking, and you're like fighting off like his experiments, like his like vision of new life or whatever. Yeah,
dude, who's the dude in the Batman animated series who wanted to create like they made them all like lions or whatever?
Tigress.
There you go.
Tigress, and then like Tigress's creator person.
That's it.
I did read something a week or two ago about this, where they said in response to no longer being in the PUBG universe, they saw the opportunity to blow it out. They're like, we have a interconnected franchise on our hands. Mm-hmm. Spin-offs, movies, anime, So I think they're gearing up to go all in on Callisto. I think a lot of that's going to depend on critical and people buying in, the reception, critical and commercial reception for this.
I hope they wait for that.
Of course,
one of the biggest mistakes that publisher can do is jump the gun and have like these giant plans beyond the game. Mm-hmm. It's like your game's got to be popular and successful first.
Go ahead.
No.
Pretty funny, though, that we've wanted a Dead Space for so long, and then now we're basically getting two, because this is from the old Dead Space people. A lot of them worked on this.
Do you think there's somebody at EA that was like, hey, we got to get out ahead of this?
Probably.
It's like all those old guys that used to work for us, they're going and they're making another thing. We don't have anything to counter it.
Yeah. Even the way that like Dead Space has been handling it, just the dev diaries, it seems more of like, hey, we should probably do this.
Right.
And that's just been so popular over the last 5 years, is bringing things back, reboot, remake. It's always been a part of video games, but I think now this era more than ever is legacy content.
With the stuff that they've shown so far, do you worry that there could be too much overlap? Like, what is it really that makes this feel like Dead Space? Because you're not dealing with necromorphs, right?
Yeah, they're necromorph-esque enough, Bloodworth. I mean, it's got shades of necromorph for sure. The health bar on the back of his neck, the kind of like the Isaac suit type thing. And just the close, intimate, horrifying encounters is very Dead Space. One or two creatures running at you, and in this trailer even, he's just like blasting away, dude. The gun has like insane amount of recoil. Just every encounter is life or death. That's kind of the direction I'd want this to go versus Dead Space, and a way for it to separate itself, I think, is even more survival horror, because Dead Space has more in common with like, I don't want to say Resident Evil 4, but like it's got shades of Resident Evil 4 there, where it gets pretty actiony, especially Dead Space 2 and 3. 1 is obviously the most horror, but it'd be nice if Callisto, to separate itself, just real like, I want to be counting my bullets in Callisto, I want to be fucking John McClane at the end of Die Hard, like looking at the two bullets in his hand, like, yeah.
With the prison setting though, like what do you want to see there more than just like
uneasy alliances, big time. I want to be betrayed, Blood. I want to be betrayed by someone.
What about that shot right in the beginning, where before we get to see like all of the disfigured corpses and all of that, where you have the robot, that just like puts a bullet in two people in the cell next to you.
Insane. Dude, is it a tyrant nemesis type?
Maybe that's
hunter?
The Callisto Protocol. Execute Callisto Protocol.
Execute Callisto Protocol. All living
Destroy
organisms.
everything, Yeah.
Great theory.
While it might kill
Great
some
theory.
of your enemies, it's like it's coming after you too.
I love it, dude. Yes. And then you go into a room and you see like necromorphs and robots, and you're like, what do I do? Do I engage? Do I pit them against each other?
That's it, because you have like such limited ammo. That's your thing. It's like you got to know when to bait it, and like even if you do and it works out, like now it's aware of you. Like you need an exit strategy. So maybe it involves you needing to scout around a little bit. Figure out what you got to do for when you bait it in there. Like
sick.
Like stealth and planning, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
My favorite shot was the melee kill. He bashes someone's head with a melee weapon against the wall, and it looks really damn good. So shout out to that.
Also, shout out to Rollerdrome.
Yeah.
Little, not quite indie because it's on their private division, but yeah, Roll 7 Ollie Ollie developers doing this crazy roller skating plus shooting kind of
awesome.
Yeah.
Haven't really seen anything like it. Anytime it's something I've never seen before that looks cool, win.
Yeah.
Full kind of cell shaded like comic book kind of look.
Looks
to
very
it. Yeah.
similar to Sable. Like,
we
Ollie Ollie.
mistook it for being
I
Sable.
know, like
Yeah.
Ollie Ollie also is like that not the same vein, but like has a good artistic style. But like clearly went with this, but it still feels like its own because that mixing gunplay with roller skating, it's just like
such a fun
and
idea.
It's like in arenas basically where it's like, all right, well, is this? Is it single player focused? Is it multiplayer? Because
I didn't even think about
I think
that.
it is single player focused.
Yeah. So I got a little bit of like, I don't know why, not quite, not Killer 7, Super Hot. Like the shoot, like like the shooting and stuff. Like when it does the slowdown, it's like, will there be like? It didn't show like you losing or dying.
Yeah, it was like
how it works.
It was like set up the coolest kill. It's not about like surviving. It's about just setting up
So
a
it says
score.
right here,
We're
tricks.
score based. Yeah,
You're
there
doing
you go.
tricks.
Yeah.
So you experience the thrill of fusing fluid movements and stylish tricking mechanics with adrenaline pumping shooter action.
There we go.
So cool.
Now you just gotta know the setup for this. What's the premise? Why?
Yeah.
What crazy place is this taking? Is happening?
Some
on?
kind of mutant TV or what is it? What's the
Smash TV?
Smash TV?
Smash TV.
Yeah, Smash.
Yeah, Running Man.
Yeah, dude.
Fully original soundtrack.
It's got to have a good soundtrack.
Dark synth musical artist Electric Dragon. Don't know them.
Dark synth.
But there's
Dark
a name
synth.
for you.
Dark synth, man.
Merging iconic.
Stranger Things seems like it has dark synth.
Wait, do you see in the sometimes it says like slow synth, like evil
Dark
It does.
synth.
It might. You know what? I bet it says dark synth at one point.
But yeah, so it says they're merging iconic 1970s textures and sounds with modern day driving beats and cutting edge production to provide a heart thumping backdrop to the carnage.
Oh, yeah,
I like heart thumping
This is
more
game
than
set
pounding.
in 3030.
Hell yeah!
Not that far off.
30.
Yeah,
Where the public are kept distracted from an increasingly sinister political situation by the violence and excess of a brutal new arena sport,
I love this
Rollerdrome.
game already. I love it so much.
Sounds just like.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They do say that competitors are attempting to get the highest score possible by combining eliminations with flashy tricks while also successfully completing numerous challenges.
Dude.
Very cool.
There you go. Maybe it'll be like the old Tony Hawk games where you try and complete everything in one run.
Yeah.
You collect all the letters.
One life to live.
Yeah, it actually gives me some like No More Heroes vibes because they're saying that like you're a participant, but like you're trying to like rise through the ranks
Heck yeah.
to like escape this like,
Riders Republic with
Bet
guns.
there's some
this
uneasy
brutal
alliances in this
corporation.
one.
Crazy.
Looks great.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Shout out.
Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
We got to see this game for the first time outside of that teaser. We wanted big stuff. We wanted big changes, and I think we're getting it.
Yeah, coming off of the lackluster story mode in 5, it came out later, and it just
Lackluster launch.
lackluster launch for that, just absent at launch.
Just content not there.
Yeah, and
compared to its contemporaries.
This feels like a hard counter to that. Be like, yo, you want content?
Yeah.
Story mode.
It's like you want to walk around.
Shenmue inspired.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
Oh, Heber.
But you do create like your own custom character to go through this thing.
I hope there's some real customization here, you know, like Soul Calibur style customization. Let's get that going. Maybe you can pick a few combat archetypes so they don't have to make a billion moves, but then let me like look dramatically different from my friends.
I mean, I don't know about how far they're going to go with customization.
Yeah.
I do think it speaks to the fact that they think they've got their head in the right space in terms of like Street Fighter 6 is going to be a platform.
Yeah.
Like this is like they understood what they didn't do right with Street Fighter 5, what they eventually did do right with Street Fighter 5 with their season passes and their updates. Like, let's build a better infrastructure out of the gate where it's clear that we're going to be supporting this. And they're clearly borrowing from the best. So you're talking about like, you know, extra content like NetherRealm, like eating their lunch with like the Mortal Kombat games. The kind of like the hub lobby area from like everyone's like, oh, Arxis. They're just taking it from Arxis's games. It's like they're, you know, sometimes flattery is the, you know, best form.
Totally.
Imitation is the best form of flattery. It's
like you want to look at what the best are doing and go from there,
But I don't think that I've seen anyone do this thing where you're like wandering around a town and then walk up to somebody and challenge them.
Honestly, I'd love to hear Don here. Mortal Kombat Armageddon was the absolute first thing I thought of, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Without question, Mortal Kombat PS2 era, like, will there be puzzles and unlockables and all this? We saw just a little bit. There's so much more.
A trash can.
Yeah, like.
You talking about like the conquest modes? Or
yeah.
Whatever? Yeah, those like full on like 3D action adventure games.
Yep.
I mean, they had RPG elements and everything in them. I didn't get the sense that that's what this was.
Okay.
It was. I don't know. I'm not sure though. It was hard to tell because at first it seemed like it was that like maybe it would have some of that stuff, but the only things you really saw engage in was like starting fights, or there'd be like cinematic interludes. So it's hard to tell how else you could interact with the world. Actually,
yeah, it looked more like it was possibly story mode. That you're like you maybe just like advanced story,
little areas like the newer Demon Slayer game. Each chapter is kind of just like an area you can go around in.
Yeah, I imagine it's what it'd be like, and then I mean. Also, just like walking around environments, it wasn't the same scale, but like Dragon Ball FighterZ had like the lobby areas, you just walk around and interact. So it could also just like be something that.
Yeah, because even I thought for a minute we were gonna get a beat 'em up.
That's what I thought.
You know, the box heads running at you, but it did look like you're just attacking environmental stuff for maybe items.
I think the box heads do point to that, though. So I'm curious.
Yeah.
There's a mode.
Because they did a Shoryuken on a pile of boxes.
Yeah.
Which means you can do that stuff while you're walking around somehow.
That'd be brilliant.
Mike Hagar, dude, Final Fight nod. Like, come on, dude.
Several episodes ago, Ben and I were on here talking about the reveal of Street Fighter 6, and we're talking about what it needed to do.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the discussion of like a beat 'em up mode came up. How sick that would be. So maybe Capcom listened to us, and they're going to give you it, Huber. Because that would be kind of fun, because they should go crazy. Like we saw like the kind of like the garage, Abigail's like workshop.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, they better have like the card destruction mini game.
Train here,
like,
dude. Mini games.
Yeah, like I want.
Let's get a Persona calendar, dude. You only have so much time in a day to like train with other Street Fighter characters. Let's go.
Certain characters and multiple paths to the story. There you go, Hubert. I think it's interesting that they so speaking to like the actual like gameplay, like the fighting mechanics, the two things that stuck out. Was when we went to the actual site and got an explanation of it, the new drive system. Right. How there's just like, you don't build up your meter anymore by being defensive or offensive. That used to be like the way you did it, or you picked a style and playing in a certain style would build up. It's just like on a fixed cooldown system.
Great.
And they said it allows for like more improvisation and to like do different things. Like you could gamble, or you could be conservative and like you either like trying to do rush down at the beginning and burn it all, and then you gotta like, or do you wait for someone to spend all their stuff and then counter them with that? I'm very curious how,
because if you have max and you're not recouping it, it's like, dude, you're wasting time. You could have used it.
Like you're sitting on
it
stuff.
back. I love it.
Like, it's interesting to see how that meta will evolve.
Yeah.
Also, like so many people watching reactions to this besides like, we reacted it, but watching other people's reactions, the biggest thing that came up from people was like how the animations looked of the fighting.
The impact.
And impact. Everyone's saying like
the freaking impact.
Heavy impact.
Yes.
What everyone was saying about like everything landing.
Dude, yes.
Yeah.
I felt the hits. It looked sick. Just, gah!
And colorful.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things I was like really pleased to see is when we saw the teaser and we saw that awful original logo, it just felt like, oh man, is this going to be really like sterile? Are they trying to make Street Fighter like realistic somehow? Right? And there's just so much color, and like I love the environments that they showed when they just did those sweeping shots of the different parts of the city and all of that. And some of these new characters like Jamie, who's like a break dancer, but also like a drunken monk kind of archetype.
Yeah, it's like
put together.
Yeah, it looks like a fusion of a few different characters there. I saw like everyone took a guess at first. Saw some Yoon guesses, some DJ guesses. Yeah, it's like, no, they're kind of like, it looks nice that they show off 2 veterans, 2 new characters, and I hope that's what they do. Like they don't go so heavy on the veterans. Like, pick a handful, but like try something new. Like because that allows you flexibility and freedom to make really unique fighting styles finally, instead of trying to take an existing one. Like, how do we modify something slightly so it feels different?
Right.
I think it's going to pay off much better for them.
But I think even like Chun-Li to me feels very different visually.
Looks awesome.
Oh yeah.
It's like you know immediately that's Chun-Li. It's just the iconic blue outfit. But she just looks different. She looks new. She looks fresh, and she feels like she fits in this world rather than just like, all right, we just copied and pasted the dimensions from Street Fighter 2 again. And so I think that they're on the right track. Obviously, it will take some people getting hands-on time soon. But
I joke about that Shenmue, but she even reminded me of Li Xiaotao from Shenmue. Like there's the love of martial arts has always been an overlap with that. Love that.
The thing that wasn't in the presentation that we did watch separately, the Madden commentator stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In like 13 or 14 different languages they're going to support. We're only like.
Was that on supported for subtitles?
Subtitles.
Yeah.
And in Japanese and English commentators. And having that in there and like this, like,
it's so cool.
Yeah, it's like I saw some comments saying it's gonna get old fast or something, but I mean, at least within the context of the trailer, it didn't. It seemed varied enough. Yeah. I'm like, oh wow, I'm like, it got a lot. Like they're saying a lot of different stuff here. That's like it feels pretty good, especially if it's like this pre-recorded stuff that they're trying to dynamically generate by what you're doing in the game. But they even said it could give hints to you when you're fighting AI about what you should do.
Oh. Yeah, I think that's very interesting.
There's a part where it said, I forget the exact words, like, oh, he needs to do this right now if he wants to turn this around. And it's like, that's cool. There you go. Like,
training.
Help you learn.
Yeah.
Because they've tried to solve that training mode forever. With Capcom, and like there's so many things that people just don't understand about a fighting game because it's not like the example that always comes up is what the heck's a Roman cancel? Like where does it say in this game what the heck a Roman cancel is and how do you do it? It's like maybe the commentator will be like you use it and like it actually could like bring you to it and like seeing it in action. It's like now you understand and so like it helps you get caught up with the language of the fighting game, FTC essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like for me, I might not even use that stuff, but it tells me, it sends me a message in combination with everything else we've seen, the story mode, all that, is that they are all in here. That entire commentary mode is like a new thing they thought up and put in. Like, spare no expense. Again, coming after bare bones launch of 5. This is so promising. Everything we just saw. So
I think for casual players, it's gonna do a lot. I think that the commentary, because one of the things in the tagline of that separate video was that the feeling of like a tournament setting in your own home, essentially. So like you feel the hype.
Dude, when we do a group stream with the commentary, it's gonna be so hype. It's gonna be hype as hell.
Yeah.
Some other small ones that were thrown in there. Eternites, which is a action game / dating sim. Very anime. Tunic is coming to PlayStation in September.
Tunic.
Season got an update with the cool trailer. A lot of travel, a lot of photographs.
Can't wait.
Recording.
I can't wait.
Location audio.
Is that this year?
Fall.
Fall. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Perfect fall game. I want to be playing this in
Riding a bike.
October.
Yeah.
Like early October, not quite Halloween yet. Just like, I want to hear leaves being blown in the wind outside of my house when I play this game.
Sure, I'll get the lawn blower. I'll help you out since we don't have fall in LA.
And then we started it off with Resident Evil.
Crazy.
We end it.
Crazy.
Final Fantasy XVI.
Yo, bookend, baby. The biggest things. And it's Street Fighter 6 right in the middle. It was a Sony sandwich, man.
It was.
Yeah, so what's going on with this, Damiani?
So glad because they had promised, Naoki Yoshida, producer of this game, had promised back in December after they couldn't give an update by the end of the year last year that we'd get an update by spring of this year. And we were running out of days in spring. There are all these rumors about whether it'd be here or not. And then people started pointing to Facebook, Twitter posts from like the Star Ocean team and the Dragon Quest spin-off team about, later in June we're gonna like give you updates in the games. I was like, Square Enix is doing an event later this month. So it's like, come on, man. Like, this game is so integrally tied with Sony's marketing right now. It's like, wow, what a missed opportunity. Like, it feels like it needed to be there almost. And I loved how they didn't like try and trick us, play coy. It's literally his style, Yoshiki style, front and center of the camera, literally talking to you like a person, saying like, listen, we promised it, here it is, and like, listen, we've been working hard on this, and like, hopefully we just want to make stuff that makes you happy and enjoy, like with like, hey, the world could be a shitty place right now, but like, we want you to, like, we're focusing on what we can do to make you still happy. And I was like, good message from him. And then that trailer delivered, and I know what, I am very curious to hear what a lot of people think, because it was most of it was what I wanted to see. Right. But I can clearly see how it might be a little bit polarizing for some people.
I think there's some things in there, where maybe it'll take getting hands-on and getting in context, because there's a lot of stuff on the screen, there's a lot of meters, there's a lot of numbers, and then when you have all these extra effects and you put it in a video on the internet, and it gets compressed, and it makes it makes
there's
everything
no
look like
way
garbage.
that stream could handle like the fluid motion of that game. It clearly, and the fact that they confirmed it's now just PS5, it's like, all right, you need to see this game running in action. So hopefully they give us a demo at some point.
But what do you think about that HUD overload?
So let me talk about the HUD. Numbers popping up. It's been a thing in Final Fantasy games. I hope there's a way to customize it. So maybe I think they might, for the trailer purposes, they made it as like in your face and obvious, where there might be some like tone it down so it blends in a little bit, so it's not so drawing attention away, because it was a little overpowering seeing some of those numbers. But the HUD was very pretty much simple. Bottom corners had like your items, your actions, 4 buttons for actions, 4 buttons for items, and in the top left was your health and limit break meter. By the way, 3 bars for LB3. That was just a little bit of 14 nod right there. And when you fight enemies on the right, and like some of those encounters the one-on-one fights looked very cinematic because of the HUD presentation.
It's my favorite thing ever, dude. It's my favorite thing ever. Is trash mobs you're just going to be able to carve through, and then when a boss enemy comes, they get their own health bar, and like the combat looked different for some of those stronger enemies. Yeah. Like change of perspective.
Like Dragoon became the floor Dragoon screenshot, which is hilarious. They know their memes. Even the camera work during that looked like a cinematic. I was like, wait, whoa, we're fighting, but like you just this dramatic camera change. Are we gonna have, is this real time? Is this like the opening where I'm actually playing? A lot of questions. Remedial enemies, man.
I love that. Carving through remedial enemies is so empowering, and it hypes up the bosses even more.
I am very intrigued and optimistic about the combat system, because as Blood was pointing out, I think the first that use one of the trigger buttons to shift forms, and it's all around. I love how the theme of this is the icon summons.
Yes.
Final Fantasy summons are some of like the coolest things in video games. And this trailer, they like doubled down and said like, dude, Final Fantasy is summons, and you're getting summons. It's the gameplay. You shift from summon forms, and it influences your actions, and they like evolve into like these iconic abilities that we've seen time and time again, to the freaking summon fights. Like someone put in chat best, like kaiju style fights. If you don't know what summons are, it's like dude, giant things on super cinematic, super epic scale. Giant that was where the numbers were the best. Seeing like huge ass numbers on there was like, all right. And then like
just seeing it to me like Odin riding up to Bahamut and slashing through the Mega Flare.
Odin uses freaking Mega Flare. Bahamut uses Mega Flare on Odin. Odin uses Zantetsugu, whatever. I can't pronounce it. The one slash move to like go through it. The counter. It's like, dude, here we go. Like, this is freaking awesome.
It was epic.
Yeah.
It was epic. Like my only regret is that I didn't see it in the IMAX.
Oh my!
Is that trailer?
Would have handled the
Speaking
frame.
to that,
That trailer is just
Wait, was State of Play
hard.
IMAX?
No.
Okay.
No.
Wait a second.
No.
But speaking to that, like the musical choice that they
Yes.
picked, you know, to I mean, I'm pretty sure they scored that trailer specifically,
Yeah.
right? You know, and having like a choir speak the names of all the summons.
Welcome to Final Fantasy XIV music, Bloodworth. I'm so happy you're getting.
I've been listening to Endwalker's soundtrack.
So, well, in context
Blood
here,
Knows.
in context, so really glad. I wish his name wouldn't have appeared in the trailer, but like they immediately confirmed it afterwards. Some of the staff that's working on there, a few of them we knew. We knew the director. We knew that Devil May Cry, Dragon's Dogma. Kind of combat director came over to handle the direction for the combat of this game, and it clearly shows. We actually technically knew Christopher Koji Fox was going to be the head of localization for this game. That was in a 14 live letter that they confirmed that a while back. But the one thing that everyone was sure was true and hadn't been confirmed till now was that Masayoshi Soken, a composer for 14's music and also some other games, but most notably Final Fantasy XIV, is doing the soundtrack, and it has his like signature all over it. And that's one of the things he's like does a great job of is like lyrics that like match up with what you're seeing on screen and doing crazy stuff like that, where it's like he's crazy enough to be like, I'm literally going to use the summon names, the names of all these iconic summons as the lyrics where the Final Fantasy theme is playing at this point and speeds up. It's like,
I've seen, dude.
It's so good.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I didn't catch till the second time we watched it. I was like, because I mean I was hearing the summon names, I wasn't paying attention to the music, and we listened to it again. It's like, oh yeah, he just snuck the Final Fantasy theme in there real fast. And then I think the other thing that I've seen some comments on so far is just that it feels more actiony. And like a single character, you don't get the party vibe.
That is, I think,
controls.
the biggest point of contention is that there's still any mention of a party system. And as far as I know, it has not been ruled out through anything they have said. But from what we've seen, they clearly are focusing on Clive as your main protagonist, and you're playing as him.
But they did introduce all these other characters.
Yeah, and
I got a theory.
The summons you clearly are playing as other people because we know some of them. What's up?
Naruto, dude. They're in you.
Well,
so when you're summoning like other, like you can talk to your other people in there or whatever.
So I've seen this theory being passed around. The Jinchuriki theory is that as you beat each dominant, they join you and like they become a part of you.
Naruto will be in the credits. It'll say special thanks Naruto, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you to Shueisha and Shonen Jump. Yeah. There you go.
I'll take a screenshot.
But beyond, even with that explanation, that lore, it's just the fact that not having 2 or 3 other party members on screen with you fighting at the same time, coming off the last single player game, Final Fantasy 15, having the camaraderie there.
Yeah. Well, 7 remakes.
And I was about to say 7 remakes showing you a great combat system with 3 people playable at the same time.
And that feels really good when you swap between them in just the right moments.
It does, and it's very action heavy, but at the same time, I don't think it's on the same level of what they're trying to do. What they're showing in this game is that this is definitely more character action. This is more Devil May Cry style, and I think we need to just get hands-on to see if it's like really just as straightforward as that, or if there's another kind of hook gimmick to it that we just haven't been shown yet.
Yeah, I think the combat has higher potential to be better if it's just one character you're controlling. I think when you throw in extra characters, it just gets kind of, there's like a level of not randomness, but just it can be so much tighter and more balanced. I feel like if you're one person, because then what do? Are you like tagging in and out?
Yeah, so
Are
again,
are they just on the map as NPCs running around
crap.
doing their
The fact
thing?
is, though, I mean, it's the reason that people are disappointed and have an issue with it is it's Final Fantasy.
Definitely.
Like it's
100%.
gone from a party-based turn-based role-playing game to now it's like, okay, I'm just like mashing buttons.
Lightning Returns
it's more,
was just
there's
lightning.
more to it than mashing buttons, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's like it's not like this sitting back and taking your
For sure.
time.
Because I think it'll benefit the combat by being one person, but the bonds are such a big part of Final Fantasy. So not having a party and not being able to like come to a new town and like have those moments, or like someone in your party is hurt and you
Have
come
Ignis
together.
cook you a meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
But you
Such a
could
good
also
point.
go Geralt style and just get into new, like more defined story arcs amidst the bigger arc. So you'll come to a town and you'll meet some characters and then you'll move on. And that'll be that story amidst the big story. So I think there can be party members, just not in that traditional sense.
Yeah, I think there are pretty high expectations for the narrative of this game too.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one kind of like intangible. Obviously there were story things in this trailer, but really understanding the breadth and scale and what they're going for, still yet to be seen. And I think there's a pedigree with this writing team that is like attached to Final Fantasy's pedigree as well, and seeing how great that writing and storytelling has been and now like the expectations are very high for this. I think that might be one of the like quote unquote X factors where like, yes, we focus on this type of gameplay because we're telling a story with Clive, and it's what they plan to do with it might be like exactly you said, like you are going to get a lot of narrative out of this, and what you do will determine what stories you see, and like that's where we want to put the focus. That's just as important to an RPG is like world building and storytelling and character interaction, and like do you see every character? Like that is a big part of it, and that hasn't been a part of Final Fantasy in a long time. Actually, like 15, it's like it's set. You're gonna see everyone. It's a fixed story. You're with your people you happen to start, or pretty much the people you're with through the end. It's like where are those like the throwbacks to the older games where it's like you have rotating. You did have rotating party members, but instead of party members now it's like chapters in a story where it's like you have this cast of characters with you. I moved on to a different kingdom. There's like 6 different kingdom. It's like you imagine there's a lot to keep track of in this game.
And like I said, they did take the time to introduce a lot of characters in this in a way that I don't think felt overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's like you see, okay, there's the Titan guy, and then there's the
Kupla.
And so
Kupka,
I do
whatever his
think
name
that
is.
there's potential for more of that to kind of come together as we get to see more of what this game is.
Yeah, and I'll say to the people disappointed, I always, I like the fellowship the most. I love the party, I love the bonds, but 15 was all about that. Now we're on 16. It's good to mix it up. It can't be the same damn thing every single time, right?
I have one last thing to say about that, and one final thing I want to say to that is totally not ruled out that you have random AI people who join you in a fight at certain points.
Different people
That's
each time as
actually
you're progressing.
this team who worked on 14, that is one of the ways they make an MMO feel like a traditional RPG is that they have main characters join you at certain
And we've
certain
seen full-scale like war going on. Yeah.
But most of the time in that game, you're playing by yourself, like going through a story, and then you meet up with like either other players or you meet up with other NPCs and you play with them. So maybe some of the times you're just seeing Clive is by himself, but like there will be key moments where other people join him in a fight, and like you don't have to worry about that. They're gonna do their own thing while you do your thing, and maybe who knows? Maybe there's like you call him as assist or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to say is really impressed by the visual fidelity step up because it was looking like a cross-gen title the last time we saw it. This time, like even though it was in like Twitch quality compressed, you could tell that this was a bump. And that even existing reusing Titan and Shiva again and seeing how much different, like Titan was like thornier, like more intimidating, menacing. Not just like didn't look like smooth rock anymore. It looked like threatening,
psycho,
and like
psychopath.
all of them, like this looked much better. I felt like
hell yeah, those towns.
Hype. You know what else we got a fresh look at this week? Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah.
Sonic.
We got some gameplay reveal
Yup.
that IGN had. For IGN first, they're going to be doing Sonic stuff all this month.
Nice.
But Damiani, reactions haven't been so positive.
What?
What's
What?
why aren't people liking this
So
game?
from my
Wait, what?
So here, let me tell you, Huber. So from my understanding, it's that the game doesn't look like a game right now. People are comparing it to it looks like a tech demo where it's just a game where they because the world design right now is very bland and empty.
Sure.
Like it looks very realistic. Like yes,
The pop in is brutal.
Yeah, it looks like animation. Some of the animations don't look very good. There's this floating stuff that pops in all over the place.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
I should be
yeah.
referencing that.
Yeah, you shouldn't because we can't show
In
that.
the trailer, there's floating stuff all like the rails, like the floating rails. And I'm like, what is that like? Writing in the sky? Oh, the rail.
Yeah, you
They're
see
just
the rails
out
in the
there.
distance, yeah.
It looks like. Honestly, it looks like when you look back at like Mario 64, when you see like the obstacle course mentality where things just be flowing by, oh, it's just crazy Mario obstacle course logic. Who cares if they're floating there? That's what it feels like here.
Yeah.
It looks like it's nowhere near ready to come out. It has potential. I'll give it that. And like some of the parts, one part of the trailer, they showed a platform scene was going up this tower that kind of looked interesting.
Yeah.
But there's this. It looks so sparse and empty and rough.
Well, and then one of my issues there too with the tower scene.
Yeah.
Is like you climb this tower and then, but why? You
What?
climb the
Yeah.
tower to like look around.
Also, anytime Sonic's walking, it's weird.
There's,
Yeah.
there's,
It looks like
no direction.
it looks like
Yeah.
the player is just like so trying to lightly move the analog stick to not get Sonic to run. They want Sonic to just walk a little bit. It was weird. But I will say, hear me out.
Okay.
Bear with me. I go way back with Sonic, my youth, Sega Genesis, okay? This, I'm not kidding around, and I'll explain why and how. This is easily the most hyped I've ever been for a Sonic the Hedgehog video game.
Really
Easily.
watching this.
Yes. Hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out. Sonic 1, 2, 3, I was too young to get hyped. I had it. Cool. Let's go. Sonic Adventure, same thing. Walked into a store, it was on the TV. It looked hype. I was like, yo, that looks sick. Okay. Since then, anticipation going into a Sonic game has been so minimal. When's the last time you were truly like hyped out of your mind? For me, it was Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1 for PS3, which was not great. They did Episode 2 and it was somehow even worse. Those weren't great. Sonic Mania,
There you
because
go.
we've been in such dark times, I was not very hyped for. I was like, maybe it'll be good.
What?
Probably not.
Okay.
You never know. It's Sonic. There's been a lot of bad Sonic video games. I was not counting down the days to Mania. This game, though, they delayed this thing a year. They built this thing from scratch. Everything.
they?
Yes. Everything they said.
The people are accusing us. There's like
It looks like they
jumping
came out,
rails
they
onto
they
like
took PSO2's.
Dude, they came out. They
assets.
said that they worked on this like they did Sonic Adventure, where they wanted this to be the foundation for the franchise for the next 10 plus years. They've done so much playtesting, which isn't a good thing, bad thing, whatever. But everything they've said has made me believe they're on the right path. They're on the right track to deliver
Okay.
a great Sonic
On-
game. The
on the
premise of it is amazing. Now, here we are with this gameplay reveal. Climbing the tower, it didn't look that great. All right, climbing the tower was weird, whatever. The other stuff, though, when he was like just running through the environment, it looked cool.
Hubert, this footage looks like when you see videos dug up from the past to like lost or found footage of here's a beta of this game where it was in like the early alpha beta phase. That's what this looks like to me.
I forgot one of the most important things, Damiani.
Okay.
When I say this is my most anticipated Sonic game ever, okay? There is a caveat here. My hopes for this on the best possible day, on the best day, Sonic Frontiers gets an 8.0. That's the peak. If this game gets an 8, that's where my expectations are. We're not talking 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 Breath of the Wild here. We're talking the best it can be is an 8, but I have faith it can get there. I have strong faith.
Okay, so it's interesting to hear your perspective here. I'm glad you're very optimistic, and I'm glad you explained why you're hype about this.
Yeah.
I feel like the vast majority of everyone else was most like Sonic fans were very hyped for Mania because everything in terms of they couldn't even get 2D right. Forget 3D, they couldn't get 2D
Sonic
right.
4 was not great.
Everything about Mania was like we're getting the right people. We're getting people who've worked on these things that your fans have endorsed.
Of course, Mania is the best.
Getting the physics engine, getting the composer. It's like this is right.
Yeah,
and it came out and it was like
the best.
Then they messed up by not securing them again and make them follow up to that because it was like critically acclaimed and it sold pretty well. So they had a solution to 2D Sonic and they kind of dropped the ball with that by not following up.
Mania 2.
Enter 3D. Yes, I will admit Frontiers, its premise was promising, like kind of more like an open environment Sonic game.
Yeah.
But this just screams to me that they still have not figured out how to do 3D Sonic. And I'm glad they're trying something different, but if this is still coming out this year, holy crap. See you in 2023, I hope. Otherwise, you're on track. You're saying 8.0, Huber?
Yo!
You better pray for swimming in sevens with this. Like, come on.
This thing's got to run on Switch. What do you want it to do? What do you know? What do you want from it?
I mean, maybe
it's a Switch game.
Maybe you got too ambitious to the scale, but this is the problem. They have not found out the solution to making a great 3D Sonic game. Yeah. And this is what they're showing.
There's been shades of it. Generations has good stuff. Unleashed has some good stuff.
I was watching this thing and I was like literally like getting sleepy. Like that's not a good place for Sonic to be. And it's and that's the thing is like there's so many like tonal weird things, right? And one of them is this world that looks like it was just like pulled out of like some random RPG, some big open world RPG, like a Xenoblade ripoff or like a Nier or something like that, and then just like dropping in Sonic stuff, Sonic items and Sonic rails and like the sound effects, and then
it's like slapped. Like honestly. Someone I made this course in Sonic Design Lab.
Right.
That's kind of
what it feels like.
Throw this
That's what it feels like.
It feels like a fan got a hold of Unreal Engine 4 and made a Sonic demo in Unreal Engine 4.
Make a launch pad here.
The problem with
that's the thing. Like a lot of these rails and platforms and things, they feel like something you dropped in.
Here's the problem with Sonic, Huber. They've not figured out how to do 3D design very well.
Yeah.
The only times they've done it well were like in
There's
Generations.
Been moments that Generations has some good shit. Unleashed has some good shit.
But it's always on rails, like restrictive, like free roaming Sonic. They've not figured out how to do it correctly.
It's always you go on a bounce pad and you just watch Sonic go fast.
Yeah, everything I saw in this trailer literally looked like stuff they already have done in previous 3D games, and it's like you can't just sprinkle that around haphazardly. Like it seems
This was
aimless.
the most promising part. Again, I shouldn't be calling it out. There's a part when Sonic is running under a bridge, going on the rails. I thought that part was solid. It seems like he can go anywhere.
But you do that in so many 3D Sonic games. You already go.
But so many of those are they're so linear. They're so honestly, a lot of those Sonic 3D games play themselves. It plays itself.
But here's the problem.
Where's
with
the purpose of this game? Is my okay? You gotta
stop Eggman.
Sorry, don't reference this up, but like. Let me compare this to not the same scale, but like ideology, Bowser's Fury.
Oh yeah,
where densely packed,
that's your first problem right there is comparing Mario to Sonic.
Okay, like I'm talking about I'm talking about design philosophy, like platform design philosophy. Yeah. When you're gonna make the larger you get an environment, the more you have to do in it that's meaningful, and there has to be like. You feel like the player is achieving something. It's not just an obstacle course where you just like go out. That's why it's being called like a tech demo. It's because like, what am I doing? I just run around and go on rails and climb up stuff and like collect a few things. Like the hook to this is not clearly conveyed. Like they
have done a bad job of that.
Think of Odyssey and think of Bowser's Fury immediately within like the first 30 seconds of showing it, like you get it. It makes sense. This is not clicking yet.
You're right there.
Well,
Great criticism.
And one of my other issues is it's like you have like Sonic is supposed to be about being fast.
Yeah.
And the scale of the world and the openness of the world makes it feel like when he's just running across a field and he's not on anything. Yeah, it just feels like a chore. It's just like boost.
I will say though that when he was going through the woods, It looked really fun.
The woods helps because you have something around you, but it has sort of this aimlessness to it. And then the other thing that they did, which is a total disservice to anything they might have going on, is the audio design on this trailer is whack.
It's
because they just have this slow Breath of the Wild style piano going on that is just static essentially, because like even when they cut to different scenes, like there's no break in the music, so like the music is not interacting, and then to hear that piano and then to have Sonic running around and then to have bounce pads and the ring sounds, like none of it fits together tonally.
It is it's missing the connective tissue, I will say that.
Exactly.
Throughout. Story, gameplay, all of it.
Long stretches of just this trailer of this Sonic running through
which is what
nothingness.
I want,
There's like landmarks, but like, what are you doing?
It's a Switch game, dude. They can't have that much on screen.
You gotta stop using that excuse, all right? But I mean, again, this looks like something...
But wait.
To be fair...
Wait, I bring it back to Xenoblade, though. I do bring it back to Xenoblade. Because a lot of those big games don't have a lot of things in the environment. But like Xenoblade, you're running through like a bear, like or Ys 9 and all those games. You're going through these open fields, and there's not like even Tails didn't have a lot in the environment.
You're jumping around a lot of
feels faster than this.
You're jumping
game,
around a lot of different things here.
Yeah.
Xenoblade has very unique handcrafted environments where you walk in a direction, you come across like interesting geography.
For sure.
That immediately is like, I found a cave. I'm going into like simple concept of a cave, or
so
here's a like the exploration factor is immediate. I think that's a little bit harder to do in a Sonic because of speed. You're going fast is a little bit harder to do that. So like they got to figure that out. So that's different. Like Tales games is more like you got a lot of combat situations in immediate fights, and like. That's the game. The name of the game is the combat in that. Like you're this Sonic, you're just going fast.
No, it was.
What else are you doing?
That's what I was thinking of. It was Shin Megami Tensei. Those big, open, ugly environments. Everyone's praising that game. Come on.
Oh, God.
They're not that great of environments.
But you're talking about environments.
Yeah.
And like that's only part of the equation. It's but you can have ugly environments, but you have stuff to do in them.
It looks like there's stuff to do, though. Every time in the trailer, Sonic is coming up to a Mario 3D land type, world type.
Huber.
Come up to an area, do a little puzzle.
Nothing in this anything remotely like Mario 3D. Come on,
dude, there's signs with question marks around little areas where Sonic has to solve a puzzle.
What? I mean, the one puzzle
that's throughout the trailer. There's 10 of them
walking on tiles. It's like
there's the one where he
spins
runs around.
The thing. Like Huber. The problem with this is, sorry I can't put words to it, but like this looks like a game that like if you're showing this off, I'm like this game's 2 years away. The fact that this game is scheduled for this year, there's like no way in hell this game is ready to come out.
It's alarming.
Like when you talk about
it's alarming.
When you talk about those signs, you know, the question mark signs.
Yeah.
I was literally like wondering if they were like a mistake. Like if they were actually supposed to be in the demo, because they look like a placeholder asset to me. I was like, is this an error message? What is this sign?
Like
the Sonic beatdown right now.
Like Huber, a simple thing. Here's a simple thing. Doing like an immediate objective that like maybe changes the geography to make it available for you to like maybe get enough speed build up to make a jump over something to reach an area. Like simple progression concepts. This is this wondrous, aimless wandering. Aimless wandering is what I get from this. That's and it's fair. Like this is your pitch. I'm sorry we're going around circles, but it looks like this is your pitch video for what the next Sonic should be, not something that comes out months before its release date.
I bet it was the pitch.
That's all I'm seeing right
I bet it was, dude.
Oh boy.
I'm not kidding around.
Oh boy. Okay.
High hopes. I still have high hopes. Ride that movie success all the way till that 8.0, baby.
Huber.
Why is Sonic in Scotland is the next question.
I'm terrified that Sonic is just going to become more known for movies and games at some point in the future.
I also hope, because I think Sonic is at his best when it is more focused and linear. I feel like there's some good opportunities to go indoors, classic Sonic stages in this game.
This feels like blood. This feels like all the stories we heard during N64 era of what games couldn't make the jump, like Metroid, trying to solve that jump to 3D. Like Sonic 3D has been on rails for the most part, with like a few exceptions of like running around hub environments, and then you get on your course and you play it. I don't think they've solved it. and this is not giving me a lot of faith that they've figured it out just yet. This looks like they're still, spinning their gears and all right, we have some ideas and we're just throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. And I almost think this is like bait to get feedback to see what they want. And I want to be surprised if they say this game is not coming out this year.
A lot of the development discussions have been looking into it. They were talking about that actually. Just numerous playtests, so many, the most playtests they've ever done for a game to get feedback, to get insight. So who knows?
Yeah.
I have high hopes.
All right. We'll see.
We will. I'm
rooting for Sonic. I want it to be good.
I've never hoped more in my life that you have been wrong, Damiani. Never once. This is the most I've ever wished. You are wrong. I hope so. I hope so.
All right.
We can do it, Sonic.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Hey everybody, I'm out sick, but I'm still here to do the ad reads. So please enjoy. Today's episode is sponsored by Honey, the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or computer. I like to shop. I'm a person, I don't know, I shop a lot, probably more than I should, and Honey saves me money. Honey saves me money. I'm a little out of it because I'm sick. But it's great. It's a little browser plugin. It searches for promos, and I use it anytime it's available. It'll just pop up and say, hey, you want to put a promo on this? Go for it. It's free. I'm sure the ad itself will get into that, but thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. Imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites. When you check out, the Honey button appears, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. Wait for a few seconds as Honey searches for coupons it can find for that site. If Honey finds a working coupon, you'll watch the prices drop. It saved me money on shoes, bras. It probably saved me money on this bra. Makeup. It pops up with all kinds of stuff. And there's this thing like reward cash that pops up, or reward points, not cash, but reward points that pops up too if it doesn't have a coupon for that site. It's neat. I don't know. It's great. It's free. Just use it. It's free. It's easy. It's free. It's super easy. You just plug in the little extension, and it goes. It does it. You don't even have to do anything. It's literally just do it. I don't see a downside. Honey doesn't just work on desktop, by the way. It also works on an iPhone. Just activate it on Safari on your phone and give it a go. Save on the go. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this show. I don't usually recommend things I don't use. I definitely use Honey, and I really like it. Saves you cash. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/allies. That's joinhoney.com/allies. Honey, like Honey. Money. Never mind. Honey.com/allies. Go there. No one likes waiting on a paycheck, especially when you've got bills due. Good thing there's Chime. Now, you can get your paycheck up to 2 days early with direct deposit. That's up to 2 more days to save, pay bills, and generally just feel good about your money situation. But Chime is more than just about getting paid early. It's also an award-winning mobile app, checking account, debit card, and optional savings account. So what are you waiting for? Hopefully not your paycheck. Get started with Chime today. Applying for a free account takes less than 2 minutes. Get started at chime.com/allies. That's chime.com/allies. It might be hard to understand my voice right now, so I'm going to spell it CHIM as in Mary, e.com/allies. It's very quick. Give it a shot. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Early access to direct deposit funds depends on payer. Saying goodbye to high-interest credit card debt is one of the first steps toward financial independence. But the interest month after month can feel like you're in a never-ending hamster wheel. That's where Upstart comes in. Upstart-powered personal loans can help you pay down high-interest debt, all online with simple and easy-to-understand payment terms. Upstart has helped over 1.8 million customers on their path to financial freedom. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses, Upstart can help you get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Upstart knows you're more than just your credit score, so rather than looking at your credit score alone, Upstart's model considers other factors like your income, employment, and other information provided in your loan application to find you a smarter rate for your loan. You can check your rate in minutes for loans between $1,000 to $50,000 without impacting your credit score. You can even receive funds as fast as one business day after accepting your loan. Don't wait to check your rate today at upstart.com/easyallies. upstart.com/easyallies. That's upstart.com/easyallies to check your rate today. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know we sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/easyallies.
And if you are a patron of Easy Allies, thank you. So before all of our Summer Game Fest stuff, they had Star Wars Celebration last week.
Floodgates have been opened.
Yeah, where they hoard their video game news.
For the Keeleys.
We saw Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Not a lot of detail.
No.
Not much at all.
Just little CGTs.
Little teaser. Yeah. So we got Cal Kestis back. Do we know who the Sith is?
No.
You don't know.
We do not know. We know nothing. Don't let anyone tell you they know unless it's Respawn. We do not know.
Definitely don't know who the guy in the tank is.
We do not know. Also, you see this Sith in this trailer fighting with one arm. Is it by choice or not? We don't know.
Yeah, it's not a fair fight. They fight with both hands. Right?
Yeah, just fighting with one.
Whoa.
Also, when we see the character in the Bacta tank, I'm pretty sure we only see one arm.
Sephiroth?
It's Sephiroth, yeah.
No.
You
Jedi
also
Sephiroth?
is the Bacta tank and the Sith the same character? Are they the same? You only see the left arm both times. Why? Why do you only see their left arm both times?
I don't think so.
So you see left arm and then a person in a tank just left arm, and you think it's two different people.
I mean, the guy in the tank you're just seeing from that angle.
Cool.
The other side of his body's just obscured.
Cool.
Yeah, because I feel like
I think it's the same.
Because he's like the Sith is the narrator of the trailer.
Yeah.
And he's basically like, what are you gonna do? Yeah. You're all wiped out. You've got no one to lead. What's your next move, Jedi? And it seems to imply that the next move is the guy in the tank.
Yeah.
So who is the guy in the tank? What is Cal Kestis going after?
Well, I think it's that separatist character saying that, actually, the narration. I think it's that Freako. They're like Paulrons or whatever is their Star Wars name. I don't know if it's the same character from Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. Looks identical to that character. Cannot confirm or deny. You let me know in the comments.
The guy with the weird wrinkly face is what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So that's not the Sith you
Not the Sith. Okay. Not the Sith.
But is this guy not a Sith then?
No, I don't think he's a Sith. We don't know. We don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he looks way separate from.
He's the guy that's like trying to get a hold of Cal.
Yeah. So we see Sith and Cal fight. Sith overpowers Cal. Cal drops his lightsaber. That character then opens a box, and it's that lightsaber.
Okay.
So it looks like Cal loses his lightsaber in a battle against a Sith. That's what it looked like to me in the trailer.
Right.
I don't know. Okay. Cannot confirm or deny. I know, it's just all speculation.
Unless Respawn tells you.
Yeah.
No one else knows.
I did see that it was 5 years later.
Yeah.
Which puts it perfectly.
I don't know the timeline, but yeah.
Which puts it.
Oh, here we go.
Right up on Obi-Wan. Right up on there. It just pushes right up on there.
That's synergy.
Yep. Let's go. Cal Kestis live action. It's all I want.
You're replaying
I am.
Fallen Order now.
Check out our archives of those streams. Yeah, we're doing a full playthrough.
Oh, nice.
About halfway through right now.
How you feeling about that?
I'm actually liking it more this time around. It's been patched. Next gen patch, 60 frames is so nice. Obviously, a lot of the bugs ironed out. You know, when I played it right at launch, it was a little buggy for me. And when I first played it, I was like, oh, it's swimming in sevens for me, the original. I know it's probably a lot better than that, but just my experience when I first played it, I was like, it's good, a little rough around the edges. Enjoying it way more this time around.
Good.
Just overall way more. But it's just classic sequel syndrome where a sequel to Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, can be better in every freaking way.
Yeah.
In every way.
That's the thing. Like, I was reading through the press release and it was like, you don't really say anything. You're just like, oh yeah, we can make this better and we can make that better and make this other thing better. Like they don't really like give you anything like concrete to grab a hold of.
All of it.
Yeah.
Like RPG mechanics, combat, exploration, planets, everything can be so much better. Like one of the main things was collectibles. They were pretty weak. You know, you can go around the environment and get different colors for your ship and BD1.
Oh.
And you can change the look of your lightsaber. And that's it, though.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah.
So not very meaningful.
You can find like a couple things that'll raise your max health and force, and that's it too. So nothing, you know, maybe a little lore here, but nothing like super deep or cool. It's mostly usually just like a text thing too. You don't really like pick anything up and look at it. So just exploration and customization and all that stuff can be so massaged. So much better. Hype.
Yeah.
You think, I hope it leads into a live action something, honestly. I would love an overlap. I would love some overlap.
Oh, just
either
to
way.
see him show
Either
up
way.
somewhere.
Something leads into Survivor somewhere or Survivor leads into something. Do it. Do it.
Obi-Wan Season
Do it.
2.
Obi-Wan Season 2.
Season 2.
The game
Obi-Wan
launches
Season
in
2.
2023.
They're planning it. Yep.
Game launches 2023. It could
2023
happen.
Obi-Wan Season 2. Let's go.
Yep.
They're planning it, Huber. Your dream's coming true.
Yes.
Will it, man?
Yes. Yes.
I was glad like EA has some like sorry, this is EA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. It's
EA
Respawn.
Respawn.
Duh, I
EA
forgot. I was like,
Respawn, yeah.
Who was it? Respawn? Yeah.
Stig back to direct.
Yeah, no EA Play or
Confirmed.
whatever this year when they pulled ripped that Band-Aid off, but
Yeah.
like it still sounds like they've got like stuff that they're showing. Like
Right.
this dropped as part of that.
Well, again,
we got
Remember, originally Fallen Order was announced by
Oh, yeah.
sitting in the crowd.
Andrea right there.
Because that's what I'm saying. Is like Star Wars just wants to announce their stuff themselves.
Yeah.
So, you know, they don't care if EA has a press conference. And like, no. You don't get to do all that yet.
yeah.
We'll reveal it.
Yeah. Hype. Can't wait. Cannot wait. Pie in the sky, never gonna happen. Light and dark side stuff.
Oh.
That'd be cool. Like choices,
Oh,
that,
yeah,
consequences.
nah, not
Never.
with this.
Don't think it's gonna happen.
That dates back all the way to Jedi Outcast or Academy or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, KOTOR obviously is.
Well, this is before KOTOR.
Yeah. I don't in Jedi Outcast. You couldn't.
Kyle Katarn couldn't take dark.
You could level
Yeah.
up, but the campaign would stay.
Yeah, but what powers you chose?
Yeah.
There's like Paragon Renegade
Yeah,
stuff and Mass
yeah.
Effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's where Mass Effect got it.
Yeah.
It's like, would you want that stuff, or would you rather just have a set narrative and?
I mean, you would have to have, you would have to have just such a completely different game.
Yeah.
You'd have to have a blank slate kind of thing as the branching RPG.
That Quantic Dream one is probably
Yeah,
just
that's
that.
probably where you could see
The
that.
one that's
Yeah.
10,000 years away.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because this is Cal's story, you know. Yeah, for sure.
Pokemon also jumping in on the action.
Yo.
Damiani, we got a new trailer and a lot of more details on Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, it feels like 10 years ago now that dropped.
Right?
Consider everything.
Just like 2 days ago. Yeah.
I got a chance to watch it once, and I saw a bunch of stuff before, and then I checked it out. Finally, sat down and got to watch it, and it's looking better. Still definitely running on a Switch. So.
Right. But I've heard, people, saying it looks better than Arceus.
It looks better.
Yeah.
I was about to say, it looks better than Arceus. It looks better optimized than Arceus.
The visual style looks better than Sonic Frontiers for sure. Just the style of it.
Here you go.
You know, it pops.
You know,
it pops.
Some rhyme and reason to it. They're doing the thing with the two different versions. You have like the different trainers that you're to come across again. They like show it in like the beginning of the trailer. One of the biggest things I saw people pretty positive about the customization options for your characters. They're offering a little bit more diversity. Like, congratulations, Nintendo, on stepping in the right direction finally.
The fashion and stuff.
Yeah, that they're giving more options to help with representation there.
Sweet.
You know, still have a little bit more ways to go, but I did see a lot of like happy people. Like, I finally can play as a character that I feel like represents me in this game. So good on that. And
a good reason for that is they have 4-player co-op.
Yes.
This time
that
around.
was the big reveal.
Big deal.
4-player co-op with up to 4 players, and
which I think is hilarious because they introduce it in the trailer with the weirdest quote. The power of science is amazing. Up to 4 of you can adventure together, and I'm like, what does that have to do with the power of science?
Science, dude.
But what's even funnier to me about it is after you see the players get together, then they all run off in separate directions.
Min-maxing, dude, going for the crypt path, the ending.
I mean, this is something I've kind of, like, a lot of people have wanted for a long time, including myself, as someone who's now become more of a casual Pokemon fan, is that they've teased it. Like with Sword and Shields, with the raids and the battles for that, it's like, can you expand upon this larger scale multiplayer? I mean, it's only 4-player, but it's a bit more than 2-player, and it's more than just dueling someone or trading someone. And this is a natural, hate to say it, evolution that should have been happening, and it's glad they're taking that step. The other cool thing about this trailer was the reveal of the legendaries. Don't know their names, obviously, because I'm terrible with names.
Off the top of my head, I didn't write them down either.
But race car dragon and jetpack dragon.
Right.
But I was joking. I was like, it's a Bionis and Mechonis. It's like a mechanical looking dragon, and I know they're like vehicle themed, but one's like organic. I'm like, yo, this piggybacking on that Xenoblade
both
Chronicles.
Of them end with Rhydon, which is hilarious.
Probably. But I mean, they looked unique. I'll give them that. They showed off more of the starter 3. Pretty cool little animations, like the duck one, like doing its little like swooshing its hair, like whipping it with the water.
I can't believe this 4-player co-op. That's really cool.
Yeah, sorry, but it looked intriguing, and it gives me a little bit more. It looks like it has more of the traditional stuff we're expecting out of a mainline Pokemon game, because this is a Gen.
But it does
9.
have a different thing here. So the more open structure, it says a world that you're free to explore at your leisure, and not in an order dictated by the story. So you will, of course, journey to hone your skills as a trainer, but many more discoveries and stories will await you. So, I mean, I haven't played Sword and Shield. I don't know exactly what they've been doing, but
Sword and Shield, I mean, had a path on it.
Right.
It was mostly following. It's just the wild area, wild zone, or whatever it was called, was like the big thing, and it was like, oh, it's this giant open area in between like 2 of the major parts of the world, or 3 of the parts of the world. This one, I imagine it's going to be more like there will be traditional things to go, like a gym. There are going to be gym battles, but the order you take them in is completely up to you, because Pokemon has never been about, like, the progression of the story is never about skill. It's never mattered what you've had in your lineup to go against the gym leaders. Like, oh, I got my starter 6, I got 6 Pokemon, I'm going to be able to take them to the Elite 4. It doesn't matter. So either they're taking some of that to heart, and to address it, it's like, well, what if we, like, instead of, like, we're not going to go for a more difficult angle, but what if we give you flexibility and freedom, and that you're not going to start in this, like, it's not going to be a predictable formula anymore. You can go off and go this direction and see what's over here, and, like, you learn, like, some of the story, like, you're going to get a different kind of, like, story progression if you go this way. It's all going to lead to the same place at the end.
Do you think that there would be any sort of, like, difficulty scaling in that sense? Because I feel like with a linear progression, right, like, if third gym, you know, that Pokemon trainer's Pokemon are like level 45 or whatever, and then by the time you get there, you're level 55, and then you just steamroll them. But if you can go to anyone at any point in the game, then they can't base that off of a level.
Well,
right?
The hope is, okay, here's an idea that I would like to see, is that no matter where you go, what direction you go, everything starts scaling with you.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. So
that like when you get to that gym leader, you can go in any order because it's going to scale.
I don't think they're going to do that, but like I would love that, and also I'd love it if like the direction you go, it's like this region, like you're encountering these type of Pokemon, you're going to have a harder time over here if you don't have a certain Pokemon in your composition to deal with this. Like that's like one of the most basic kind of pushbacks of an open world game is like, you're maybe not ready for this, or you are, but like you don't have the right things. Like just think a little bit. Those are two things people have been asking is to please make Pokemon composition a little bit more important to advancing in the game, so it's not just steamrolling through your starter 6. And also with this, like having like also breaking up like the linear nature and like I go here, maybe I backtrack here, but you have like a more of an open progression, like which was what Arceus teased. So it's like, how do you bring those two together?
Yeah.
And hopefully they're taking some of the ideas from Arceus and taking some of the mainline, and this is kind of like that fusion of that everyone's hoping for. So I'm optimistic from what I've seen, but I mean, I still feel like I need to see more. And also, even though it looks better in Arceus, I mean, again, I will defend Nintendo on a lot of things with their graphics and their aesthetics, but we are getting to a point where it's like these games are starting to show their like the age of that hardware for sure.
I think the footage they've shown so far does a better job of making the limitations look good rather than like first thing you've seen is like, whoa, that texture, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there are some cool things like those, like the Pokemon, like, I don't know if they're Pokemon centers, but like the weird things
cool.
now.
Little gas stations.
Yeah. But like you see like ads on them, and like one of them, like I saw someone point out on Twitter that there's like one of them's for flight service. So is there gonna be flying in, like you to fly in this, like not just Pokemon flying, but like will you travel like on a plane or something? It's like there's so many possibilities here, but I'm more inclined to give Game Freak a little bit more leeway because they've been mostly rightfully so have been like, kind of been like raked over the coals for their efforts in the past. But I think starting with Arceus, they showed we are willing to try and take some chances. And now with Scarlet and Violet, it's like maybe they're trying some new stuff. So like, let me give them a little bit of a benefit of doubt here and like see how this plays out.
Yeah. Some other little tidbits. This is the first time apparently where they've had separate professors.
Sorry, that's what I was. Professors, not trainers. For versions.
For each version.
Yes,
so
sorry, that was it.
Sada and Turo.
Thank you for that correction.
Who people have already been like thirsting over.
Those legendaries were called Koraidon and Miraidon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Undertale's Toby Fox
wrote
the field theme, which he basically just like he wrote the melody, the theme itself,
right.
And then Game Freak composers took it and arranged it and implemented it in different parts of the game.
That's pretty cool, actually.
That is.
He also did something else for Nintendo or something recently.
I think he did something in Smash,
like a track he contributed.
Yeah.
Something high profile.
And then, not related to Scarlet and Violet itself, but Junichi Masuda has left Game Freak. He was the managing director and one of the founding members of the company, but he hasn't gone far.
Yeah.
He will now be the chief creative fellow at the Pokemon Company.
The Miyamoto of the Pokemon Company.
Wow.
I hope to transcend the boundaries of video games.
What?
It means I'm going to be working on more than just games.
He's going to be working on Pokemon outside of just the games,
So this was kind of expected because he kind of stepped back a while ago. This was an expected move. But, I mean, it's kind of like bittersweet because we have Masuda's changing of the guard here with the Pokemon at Game Freak. Shinji Hashimoto recently.
Yeah, we got that coming up,
Yeah, Square Enix just retired. Rightfully so, was in charge of Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, and those have since been passed on. Kitase, Final Fantasy VII remake producer, and helming that project is now in charge of like Final Fantasy, and I forget who's in charge of Kingdom Hearts. I'm sorry, but it's like a changing of the guard, and I think some of this is coming out in like the changes you're seeing in these games. It's like always nice to have like the veterans there, but sometimes you do need like new ideas, like new blood to come in and kind of like help out with pushing your company forward into like for new generations.
Fresh eyes.
Yeah.
Stringer bow. Fresh eyes.
Power of science is amazing.
Also this week, the next Dragon Age has a name.
Dad.
Dragon Age Dreadwolf, which is Dad. Yep.
Dad
that's it.
memes incoming.
And BioWare confirmed it will not be releasing this year.
All right.
Super Nintendo World will open at Universal Studios Hollywood in early 2023.
Yo, Blood, get us those codes.
Are you day one?
Those are the most important
Are you
codes.
day one,
Yes.
dude?
They released a quick trailer of the Mario Kart ride.
We need
Spoilers, I can't watch that.
Yeah, not watching that
Yeah.
shit. Hell no.
I don't want to know the turns.
Yeah, no way.
I want to be surprised.
No way.
Oh no, it's real quick. And they say that it can change each time you ride. It might be a little different.
That's perfect. By the
Can
way,
I throw an actual shell?
an AR.
I think so.
It's AR?
It's AR.
Yeah, so you have,
get the,
you have
Yeah.
these visors on.
Yeah, it's AR.
So you're like in the real world, real props are
And you
happening,
got,
but
like-
then you also have animation on.
Don't worry.
It's like
yeah.
Transformers,
Crazy.
2.0 kind
But
of.
better.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we're announcing it now. Easy Allies, whatever anniversary event next year at this place.
Yep.
Meet up,
Mario World.
I don't
meet
know
up
about
at
that,
Mario
but
World.
yeah.
Absolutely happening. 100% reserved.
I'm coming
now.
dressed as Sonic.
Yeah,
Rival.
Yeah, come right now. Dressed as Sonic, and I meant to say make your reservations now because that's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Let's go.
This is wild. Blitzball from Final Fantasy X is now a canonical sport in the Star Wars universe.
Will someone explain that to me?
Thanks to a reference in the novel Star Wars Brotherhood.
Yeah, like the writer is like a big fan of it.
Of
they
10?
put
I don't even know if he's a big fan. It sounded like almost like he just heard about it from a friend and decided that sounds
really?
cool. I like hockey. Like,
Oh,
I
well,
don't
never
I don't
mind.
know the whole story. It's just
Strange.
It's so strange.
Yeah, it's just like it's a nod.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't even know it's like canon. It's like Square Enix just be like, no.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, because the book is about Anakin and Obi-Wan, but I don't think that they're even involved playing Blitzball. I think that Blitzball is just
Anakin Obi-Wan playing Blitzball.
Kingdom Hearts, dude. Kingdom Hearts.
No. Forget Kingdom Hearts. In the spoilers, but in future of Final Fantasy X lore, that not as many people know, Tidus got blown up by kicking a Blitzball that was the bomb. So maybe Anakin getting retcon, he tried to kick. Obi-Wan and him were playing. I got the high ground, Anakin. He tried to kick the Blitzball and he blows up. That's why he became Darth Vader. Oh my God. Instead of like trying to go for the high ground.
So I can just, like, see a comic
it was a
frame.
friendly Blitzball match.
I'm getting like blown out. Just like,
bad man to watch.
God.
lots of events happening that we just aren't able to cover or don't have the expertise in sometimes. But Warhammer Skulls was this week, which showcased many things happening
Always.
with Warhammer in video games.
The way Blower said many things reminded me of Police Academy.
Many.
It's overwhelming.
Many.
There's an overwhelming number of Warhammer games from the showcase. Dark Tide got a cinematic trailer, Space Marine 2 got a dev diary, and then they revealed Bolt Gun, which follows up the recent like retro FPS trend.
Yeah.
Looks really good for
Bolt
the
Gun
franchise.
looks sick.
Yeah.
Probably the most
Bolt
intriguing
Gun.
thing they showed. Yeah,
Big time,
For me,
dude.
someone
Sign
like
me up for Bolt Gun.
Yeah.
Konami
Oh yeah.
announced and launched a new game this week,
Oh yeah.
Frogger and the Rumbling Ruins for Apple Arcade.
Awesome.
An exploration puzzle game, kind of Indiana Jones, Tomb Raider themed. Gameplay does kind of remind me of like Lara Croft Go or Monument Valley
Okay.
style of thing. Yeah, like not exactly, but you know, if you're into those things, you'd probably be into this Frogger
It's
game.
not NFTs
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
yet.
As Damiani mentioned, Shinji Hashimoto is retiring from Square Enix. Among other responsibilities, he has been the brand manager for Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. But his farewell message is super jolly. He said he'll still be attending lots of events, and he invited fans to come up and ask for photos.
Yeah. I think he also said he's like happy to finally play the games, continue playing the games as a fan too.
Yeah.
So it's
Sick.
like, yeah,
I love
pretty
that.
Nice.
Don't Nod Entertainment is now Don't Nod.
Don't nod.
Two separate words. The apostrophe is there now.
Blood, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. Finish your thing. I'll tell you when I'm nervous.
Yeah, so they've confirmed they have 6 internal titles in development. Currently 320 developers on staff. And if you want to know some of the weird marketing things that go into this name and logo change, Don't Nod is 2 words. to represent our tendency to be non-conventional as a company and the games that we create. As in, we don't nod along to everyone else's tune. The D is shattered, and the N appears within it, signifying that we are not afraid to break the mold.
Whoa. Edgy. Don't not getting edgy.
So why are you worried?
I'm like
The 6 games at the same time thing? Or,
I'm getting Telltale flashbacks, but
or their frog management style?
no, I'm getting Telltale flashbacks. I'm nervous. There's too much going on.
Oh,
I get nervous when there's all these projects, their name change, all of a sudden they're blowing up, expanding, getting huge. Like,
You have the Montreal studio in addition to Paris.
Hey.
yeah, I'm getting nervous that I fell in love with Life is Strange because it felt like this intimate, small scale, personal thing, and I get nervous when it gets more corporate, and a studio growing and growing and growing and getting huge. Like,
Yeah. They're publishing now too.
yeah,
It's another part of it.
yeah.
becoming-
So I hope they don't lose that.
Yeah. So you're worried they're selling out? All right. maybe
Not selling out necessarily.
Maybe they'll become the new Devolver Digital.
It is interesting to me because
Turn out okay for Devolver.
as you're talking about, the small scale,
Yeah.
like I don't feel like their games have blown up outside of Life is Strange.
Yeah.
Right, Life is Strange is the thing that people know don't nod for, and they've done a lot of other projects like Twin Mirror.
Vampire,
They're like-
remember me?
Yeah, Vampire. Remember Me was back earlier with Capcom, but
Oh my god.
it still feels like they're all still kind of on the same level.
Definitely.
There's some increase in production value in Twin Mirror.
Yeah.
Doesn't resonate as strongly as Life is Strange,
Yeah.
but it's not like, oh, we're this giant AAA studio now.
Totally.
Yeah.
I get worried because it's like, I want all the focus on one game rather than we're making 6 games. Just as a consumer, I feel
Yeah.
like that.
And it also seems like they stepped away from Life is Strange. Let Square Enix do that.
It's like, are they even? Is one of those 6 games even Life is Strange? Like, maybe not. Probably not. Bloodworth.
Right.
I'm nervous about that. But it's a studio I love, and it's just a little apprehension because I went through it with Telltale. They just did too many things, and you saw it in real time, Damiani. You saw the quality suffer.
right.
Because
But
it was too
I will
much.
say the difference is Telltale, like, they would have like 6 games like running at the same time, like releasing episodes all like
True.
in cycles, and it was craziness. Whereas like it's a very different thing to say like you have 6 games in development. Like,
But even
2 of those games might be nearly done. Another one might still be like working with white boxes and trying to figure out the
Yeah.
gameplay. So
we lived through it with Life is Strange 2 Blood. That was a different time, of course,
Yeah.
but like they struggled to put that one thing out in a timely manner. So
for sure.
just little nervousness, but optimistic because it's Don't Nod and I love them.
The Kirby 64 glitch that we brought up last week has been fixed. Kirby no longer gets locked in a stun animation while underwater. So
It's hilarious.
it's frustrating that the N64 emulation has like continually been running into these issues, but it's at least encouraging that
They've fixed it.
they're responding and they're fixing these things.
Yeah,
Some of them are quicker
patching
than
that?
others. Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool.
And finally, Will Arnett will star as Sweet Tooth in the Twisted Metal TV show on Peacock.
And
It will also star Anthony Mackie, Stephanie Beatrix, Thomas Hayden Church, and Neve Campbell, and it has Cobra Kai's Michael Jonathan Smith as the showrunner.
There you go.
What is this
And
show?
unless Brad was lying to my face, Samoa Joe is playing Sweet Tooth as like body. Will Arnett's doing the voice. Unless Brad was just effing with me like he does. But he told me Samoa Joe was the body of Sweet Tooth.
Wow.
Is that in there or no?
I didn't see it.
It was
But-
Brad probably just trolling me, dude. Never mind.
Next week.
Hype, I guess. I don't know. The anytime.
It sounds encouraging for something I had no interest in before today.
Yeah, anytime a video game adaptation is announced, my expectations are so low that if it's bad, it doesn't affect me at all, and if it's good, then it makes my life a little better.
The thing that's weird is like I don't. What do you do with this franchise?
Well, there's so dude
because to me, not as an insult, right, but as a description.
Yeah.
Twisted Metal's aesthetic is a dumpster fire. That's what the visual palette is going for.
Yeah, I guess
it's
so.
Metal
I guess so.
And fire and smoke.
It's really funny. I will say the Twisted Metal lore is phenomenal. I think of Twisted Metal Black often, and anytime you would beat a character's campaign, you would be rewarded with that character's cinematic cutscene. And so many of these characters' stories are just awesome. They're dark or gritty or just funny or interesting. Like a lot of them are really, really good. So the foundation of like all those characters' foundations are a good starting point for a show, a narrative. So there's potential, but I'm not getting my hopes up.
No.
Huber, Brad wasn't fucking with you. That's real.
Yes! Somebody is getting muscle bustered for sure. Mark my words. He like picks him up like this and then drops him. It's cool. It's cool. It's going down. Samoa Joe.
It's time for love and respect. Love and respect. From Zach. And apologies if we go through these a little quicker because it's almost midnight, so we need to step up the pace a little bit. Hey, allies. This is a question aimed primarily at Huber.
Yo.
But I encourage anyone on the panel to chime in. If Resident Evil 9 was going to return to focus on co-op, which two existing RE characters would you like to see star in it as partners? I'm thinking main characters that haven't been featured side by side yet, like Jill and Leon, or Claire and Jill, are obvious selections, but who would you love to see in a team up for the next Resident Evil title?
Can I do 4 people?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's your question.
I trust you, Huber.
I want Jill and Chris, and I want Leon and Claire.
Oh.
The OGs.
All right.
The OGs.
So you don't want a different... Yeah.
So you don't want to pair up people having them together.
It's a tricky situation because they tried to Avengers Assemble in Resident Evil 6, and we all know what happened there. We still have yet to have a triumphant assembling of some Resident Evil legends. Mm-hmm. It's been so long since Chris and Jill have been like partnered up. You know, we had Revelations 1, of course, but like mainline. But then that's pretty hype too. Like Claire and Jill would be so sick. Oh, it's a tough question. I'm gonna stick with my final answer, the original, Chris and Jill. Because I think the narrative too, it would be Jill's return, Chris dealing with all his village fallout and stuff. It would just be good drama there.
Dumb Annie.
It defaulted to Huber there. I trusted Huber for the
What
bonds.
do you think?
I mean, the only character I'd like to see come back that hasn't is just to have like Sheva.
Sheva, dude, you gotta bring her back.
Like, we haven't seen Sheva, so it's like, can you just bring Sheva back?
Please, just bring her back at least for a little bit.
Yeah, even if it's just one chapter, man.
Please.
Just one chapter. We just have some closure there.
Yeah. Begging for it. Thanks for saying that, Tommy, honey.
I'll go unhinged.
Oh, okay.
Leon and Wesker.
Dude. Yes. Love it. I love it.
I think to me the most interesting part of that is whatever scenario could put them in that situation that they have to work together. Yeah.
What if it's like an uneasy co-op where I like actually could backstab you, like 2-player, where like there's actually benefit where if like in a situation I could kill you and like I get a bonus.
That kind of thing might work
Alex
online.
Wesker.
An online mode where like to where there's like HUD elements that one person sees that the other person doesn't.
Well, one of my favorite things in Revelations 2, Bloodworth, is one character can see invisible enemies and has to point to them.
Right.
And the other person has to shoot the invisible enemy. I love that.
I forgot about that.
Oh, it's one of my favorite co-op things.
God.
Yeah. So cool.
From JG. Hey allies, I love playing classic and older games. Since I was born in 2001, I have a lot to catch up on. Throughout the years, I've been playing many all-time classics and loving it. I have come across a problem, though. I want to play more Final Fantasy games, but I can't stand random turn-based encounters. Just to be clear, I have nothing against turn-based battles.
Yeah.
I played 100 hours of Persona 5. But when they appear randomly and are combined with maze-like level design, I can't deal with it. Tried playing Final Fantasy VII before the remake came out, but I didn't finish it, despite really liking the story. Is this a strange complaint?
No.
Does not growing up with certain games impact your ability to enjoy them?
Yes.
And can you recommend any Final Fantasy games I might like? I only played Remake, which I thought was absolutely incredible.
All right. So, yeah, you're right, Huber. I think having played through them and lived through them, you have a little bit more of a tolerance for it. But you also definitely appreciate the predicament they're in. There exist several versions of those retro games that have the ability to turn off random encounters.
Yeah.
Like Final Fantasy VII is an example of one where you could just literally, on the newer versions, I think like the PlayStation version, you can speed up, turn off random encounters, and like give yourself like infinite health or whatever. I mean, the Steam version even has a save file.
Those two.
The Steam version even has like a save file editor thing where it just locks you out trophies, but if you don't care about achievements, but whatever they're, if you don't want that stuff, I mean, you could do whatever you want. Yeah, they definitely have that. Now the Pixel remasters don't have that, but I mean, you know, you can modify them if you want. But I would do some research, look at the more recent re-release,
like 12
versions.
and 10 remasters. Can you? Those like full budget 10 and 12 remaster.
Final
10 and
Fantasy
10
10 2 does not, as far as I remember, doesn't have a turn off random encounter. If it did, I just didn't use it because I'm just so used to that game.
And then 12, you see the enemies.
Yeah,
and
12
you can
is
just
different.
avoid
12
them.
you see the enemies.
Right.
Like 12 onward, it's not an issue. But
Yeah,
like
same thing with like the newer Dragon Quest
10
stuff.
before, it's going to be a thing. And I think there has to exist probably a version of like 9, 8, 8 remaster.
PS4.
I imagine 8
9
remaster, 7, and then some versions of like maybe the older ones have no encounters. But if not, if you really want to go away, as long as you buy a copy of the game, like find a way to play it on your PC. And you could obviously use a code or something that disables random encounters. Like you can literally just you get a Game Genie if you still can find a working one and like disable random encounters. But I mean,
But obviously, if you're not
nicer.
fighting enemies at the same time, you're not, getting a
there's
level
a way to
up sometimes.
one of the things I got for the Pixel remaster was a way to modify the random encounter rate. You can make it less or more frequent.
That's good.
And that was
That's
a nice.
in the Pixel
No,
remaster?
this was the thing I got for the Pixel remaster. That's not part of it.
Got it. Unaffiliated.
But I mean, that's how easy it is if you have access to like these games will run on anything, like a laptop, like a low end laptop. These games will run on. So as long as you have access to a PC, they're very easy ways to play these with modified encounter rates. But it would be nice if they actually took this into consideration for all versions of their games.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's not just you. It was annoying when they came out.
Yep.
I think
kid,
saying tolerance is the word for it, and it may just be a matter of trying to build up that tolerance. Because it's hard because we can find the spots here and there where a game might work for you, but it was just such a template for so many RPGs. For if you're going to want to go back and play old Dragon Quest, if you want to go back and play Phantasy Stars, it's just so many games, that it was like when Chrono Trigger came along and it's like, you can see the enemies. Yeah. It was a big deal.
Dragon Quest 8's my favorite JRPG, and that's later, man. That's PS2.
Yeah.
Still random, just battle.
Yeah, man, that was infamous. I mean, Skies Arcade, even like the GameCube version came out later after the Dreamcast version, purposely had to tone down that. So even the developers were aware.
I felt it as
Skies of Arcadia
starting that game. Yeah.
Some retro RPGs have items that you can get that reduce encounter rates. Like Pokemon has Repel. So if you use a Repel for a while, it'll tell you when it wears off. So if you just want to go through, that's one of the things, going through a cave and exploring, it's like, I don't really want to fight all this stuff. Can I just peacefully walk around?
It's the worst when you're lost.
Yes.
It truly is. When you are lost in a dungeon and you are just random battle, can't get to a save spot, you lose your way.
Yep.
Top 3 gaming nightmares.
And those old ones were designed to do that to you, especially in those later dungeons.
You want to go back? I have less experience with the broader scope of the PC RPGs. But going back to Legacy of the Ancients.
Hell yeah, I knew you were going to say it.
You know, what's interesting with that is when you're in the overworld and you sort of have a random encounter, it's not like the Final Fantasy style where it's like, wah, wah, and then you get the battle screen. It's you would get like a notification. It's like, there's something approaching from the north.
I love that. And could you back up? You could back
away? And then you could try to back away,
Nice.
Try to move in a different direction to try to avoid it,
Tight.
But not always successful.
Would you like to know one of the earliest games that showed you enemies on screen?
I would love to,
It wasn't
yeah.
turn-based battle, but like
I would
it was
love to
essentially
know.
like an overworld map.
100%.
And instead of just blatantly random encounters, things would spawn. You could run into them. There was random what would spawn to an extent. Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. You walk on that world map, those mob things would spawn. You walk into them, you get to an encounter. It like transition to an encounter.
Very
Real-time
cool.
combat, but
Very cool, very cool.
absolutely.
Some good lore there.
First
Good
ones.
trivia.
Yeah.
From Brandon K. Gann. Hello, everyone. I have a two-part question for you all this week, and I've skipped parts of it just for time. Between Summer Game Fest and the Xbox and Bethesda Showcase, which are you looking forward to more? This isn't to imply you're not looking forward to both. I'm just curious which of the two you have more anticipation for. Personally, I'm more intrigued with Summer Game Fest because of the potential of major third-party news, though Xbox and Bethesda should be pretty heavy with first-party focus, particularly with Starfield. And then second part, what games are you hoping to see regardless of where?
More hype for Keeley's because it's Keeley and it's more possibilities,
I will say that, yeah, I mean, although obviously Xbox has like a lot to prove and like
Definitely.
a lot of first party to show off.
Yeah,
they have been
so much has
really good
been-
about showing third party stuff in the past.
Yeah, just after the delays, I guess, too, from them, I'm just a little more on the Keeley train right now, just because of the Bethesda, Bethesda delaying stuff. If we were gonna get like Redfall this year or something, I'd be like, yeah. But just knowing that stuff is far away,
Yeah.
I want to see if Keeley's got anything close up, and I know for a fact, don't you lie to me, Jeff. I know you got turtles. I know it. I know it in my bones.
Shredder's Revenge.
I
baby.
know it. He's going to release that. Keeley is going to be the one to push the button for it to release. It is on the store now. Something I want to see. Village DLC.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, my concern with Microsoft is while they might have a lot, that you are right, they've done a very good job of showing third-party games. I think they need to show off first-party stuff. That's like, we know you can show off good third-party stuff, but like, what do you got in your stuff? My concern is that everything is going to be super far out. We're not going to be seeing,
Far
we're going
out.
to see a lot of announcements. We're going to see stuff that's like 2023, 2024, or even beyond.
Yeah.
And it's like, great. This is going to be a while, so it's kind of hard to be. It's exciting in the moment, and it like wears off. Whereas there's more potential, I think, at Keeley's event for something to be announced that's within like the next 6 to 12 months
Yep.
max
Yep.
that we might not know about. That could be exciting potentially. And like I said, Village DLC could be one. I still think there's potential for. And they might do it at their own event, but like Keeley might have scooped up maybe like a FF7 remake teaser, part 2 teaser or something. Like that's what I want to see over the next. I mean, at something in this month, I want to see a teaser for FF7 remake 2. It's like besides 16, it was like the next thing I wanted the most to see, like from this stuff that we know about.
Hell yeah.
Or assumed we know about. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm more curious about Summer Game Fest just in that sense of, like you're saying, like you don't really know what could be there. Just like anything could
Last
be there.
of Us.
It's like there could be an Xbox thing there, right? There could be a Sony thing there. There could be a Nintendo thing there. It just really,
yeah, they could.
the door is just wide open,
Yeah.
and so it's very interesting to see what he could do. But like I was saying, like Xbox has been doing right by Bandai Namco the past few years, so it's like if there's more Elden Ring stuff, it could show up there. If there's another From Software game from like a B team that's going in a different direction, like Sekiro, it could be there. Another they had the Tales game was at Xbox as well.
Yeah.
There's just like a whole lot of different things, different partners that Xbox will just sometimes they'll jump in there and they'll get it. But I definitely echo your frustration where it's like Xbox, you got to stop showing us trailers for things that don't exist. Because it's just like, here's a really cool idea we had.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll figure out what it is.
Thank you.
What?
We've had too many announcements that have like either they're now intangible or behind the scenes development troubles have ensured they're nowhere near release. Perfect Dark, like that's one of them. But like, Rare's the Idol whatever one, which is
even
like,
Fable,
and Fable, another one.
I trust Playground Games so much to make a great game, but what is that Fable game going to be? I mean, there's so many things they could have. It's just showing off something that's just more tangible, like defined, like gameplay. Here's real gameplay and here's a release date. It's like it seems to be so elusive. Like, I mean, and they just went through with the situation with Halo, like, having to delay that and push that, and like still having the troubles there with that. And that's one of their premier flagship titles. It's like still not out.
Yeah, it's like, I think the one that they, unless I'm wrong, that they got the most right was the most recent Forza Horizon. Like, right?
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
IGN's
Playground has been solid.
Yeah, so it's like, aside from that, and maybe one other I'm forgetting, like, it's just so
Gears is solid.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, maybe we see new Gears. That could be hype. I mean, there's lots of stuff I'd love to see from them. It's just like, will they actually show up, and will it be something that, like, it's not just, here's a teaser CG thing, thanks for watching. It's like, okay.
Hopefully Hellblade.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But again, speaking of things that
where's that?
We got shown before they existed.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think Hellblade.
We got a teaser for Hellblade, and then like a year and a half later, they're like, we're going out and recording audio and stuff. And like, what?
I think that game is so much different than it was originally going to be.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see Hellblade 2 on like month 1 versus now. Like, how different it was the idea for this game. Love Hellblade. Hopefully we see it.
Yeah. And there's got to be a tipping point. They bought so many studios. There's got to be a tipping point.
Yeah. They'll have their
when
year.
This lineup starts to actually materialize. It starts to feel like an ongoing lineup.
Yeah.
And we don't see things that are a million years away.
It'll happen. We'll get there. They'll tortoise in the hare, right? They'll get there.
All right. It's time for bets. This week's bet, as we've mentioned several times, next week is Summer Game Fest officially. Jeff Keighley will be debuting, premiering, and showcasing dozens of games in his kickoff event.
Dozens.
And of course, one of our favorite types of reveals is the shadow drop, when a game without a release date is announced to be suddenly available today. So friends, I ask you, how many shadow drops will occur during the official main run of the Summer Game Fest kickoff? No pre-show, no Day of the Devs, just the main event. Huber.
I did 4/2, which equals 2.
2.
Because remake 4. I was just thinking about remake 4.
All right.
That's it. But I didn't want to say 4. I wanted to say 2.
Okay.
So I did a little division there.
Okay. Damiani.
I went with 3.
Ooh.
Prime number. That's my explanation. Not really. I just made it up.
Prime, dude.
Don.
I didn't listen to the details for some reason. I didn't realize it was only that first section. So I actually went with something a little higher than I would have, but I went with 4.
Nice.
4.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oof.
Need 1 and we got the
2,
3, 4.
I went with 6.
Going high.
Shadow Drop City.
Shadow Drop City.
Here we go.
Now, Don.
Does
Shit.
the Resident Evil 237 next gen patch count as a shadow
Patch
drop?
is not, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to be clear.
Yeah, like that Horizon patch.
Okay.
Like, no.
Want to be clear.
You got
Because
it.
if they show it and they're like, out now.
You've got to at least be like on the level of an expansion.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Don't just throw me some hats and say
Hey,
it's a shadow.
Horizon said it was a major update. Massive expansion. Sunbreak.
I mean, New Game Plus is nice. There's some other features in there that are nice. It's not a shadow drop.
Massive
Come on.
That is my favorite thing, dude. Massive expansion. I hope they do that for DLC or for Village.
I hope so too.
No.
Massive expansion.
Let me get this out of the way because we're in a unique situation here. Don is not on either team. So I'm going to count Don as a wild card. So Don, if you win, you'll get to choose which team your point goes to.
Sick.
Nice.
However, that doesn't make you part of that team.
Dope.
On
If you
Easy
get in this
Alliance.
position again, you can choose somebody else.
A lot of power, a lot of
Yeah,
responsibility.
however you use that power is up to you. You need to win that point before you can decide.
I gotta win first.
All right, last week's bet. This was hilarious. This is hilarious. Diablo Immortal came out this week.
Wait, it's out?
Yeah.
It's out. It actually came out a day early.
Whoa.
It's supposed to come out today. Before this podcast started, right when we were getting ready, I checked the game's profile on the Google Play Store and looked at the reviews. I wanted to know the difference between the number of 5-star reviews and the number of 1-star
I
reviews.
love this.
So you subtract whichever one's smaller from whichever one's
This
bigger.
is a good bet.
And for fun, we also just guessed like which would be higher, the 5 stars or the 1 stars, right? So Brad bet the difference would be 150,
150,
and there would be more 1 stars.
of course.
Ben bet 437, and that their 5 stars would be greater.
Whoa.
Isla bet 666 to honor Diablo,
Nice.
betting 5 stars would be greater.
Whoa.
And I bet 22,221. And I said the 1 stars would be greater. When I checked, there were over 200,000 reviews.
200,000 that fast?
I'm going to click on it again. I want to see what it's up to now.
Holy cow.
210,000 now. So my number's going to be a bit
Dude.
skewed, but not by much.
Wow.
The 5-star reviews, 158,023 when I checked.
That's big.
The 1-star, 13,615.
Wow.
None of us were even in the ballpark. The difference
Wow.
is 144,408
In favor of 5 stars.
in favor of 5 stars.
Wow.
First day reviews though, so who knows if the longevity's there, but
Yeah.
first impressions.
Wow.
So since I was the only one that was even in the thousands, I won that bet. Bringing the scores to Massive Chubs 10, Splish. Melodorous Sea Lions 9. Let me tell you about patreon.com/easyallies. Patreon is how we are supported. It is how we are able to do all this stuff. That's how we're funded. It's how we have some people watching this live right now at midnight, if there's anyone left in that chat. Yeah, there's a tier where you get to watch this thing as we record it whenever we get around to that. Usually it's around 5:30 on Thursdays. Sometimes when it's Summer Game Fest time, things happen. We got to shoot a betting special. You know, that's life. But there are lower tiers as well. Anything that you can pitch in. $1 will get you an extended version of this podcast. It's also ad-free, and it'll also get you fast and loose once every month. And then at $5, you get this podcast early. You also get spoiler modes and trash babies and lots of ways to participate, including love and respect. But yeah, it just bears repeating that this is how we do everything. If you like Easy Allies, jump in there, get involved, support us, and keep all of this going. And in the tip top, the highest 3 tiers, we give shout outs every month. And this month's shout outs are Javawabs, Elthanis, Greg, the Dark Knight Kettering, Caleb, Togi Crawford, Nick, and Anna Croft. Shout out.
Wow.
Since I won that bet, I get to promote any Easy Allies video I'd like to promote. I get to the final word on anything I've disagreed with, want to reiterate, or just popped in my head. And I get to sign off with my trademark sign off. I'm going to promote that betting special again. Honestly, it kind of came up on us out of nowhere last week. I was like, Don, are we working on a betting special? And so big shout out to Don and to Huber for working on that and trying to get that together. Also to chat in Don's Hangout for submitting a bunch of things.
Yes.
That was a fun time, fun way to get some ideas and some blood moving. And then final word. That Sonic gameplay was sleepy, man. Huber, I'm sorry. I understand the desire to go open world, to have Sonic have another chance and a fresh start. It ain't there yet. It's not there yet. I don't know how it's gonna get there based on what I'm looking at. So hopefully we get a better look at it sometime soon. And we'll see you before the next blood moon rises. Twisted Metal's aesthetic is a dumpster fire. That's what the visual palette is going for.
Yeah, I guess
it's
so.
Metal
I guess so.
and fire and smoke.